Welcome into Utah Grizzlies hockey on the Utah Grizzlies Broadcasting Network. I am Tim Montemayor with the voice of the Utah Grizzlies as you look at your boys in black tonight, live at Idaho Central Arena, getting ready to take on the Idaho Steelheads in what is going to be a very competitive Game 2 of this weekend set. And Tyson, I think if last night was any indication, this has the potential to be a spectacular hockey game.
You're talking about two teams that have very talented forwards and very good offensive attacks, but last night it was defense and goaltending. That was the order of the day. Lucas Preek stopped 38 of 39 to pick up his second straight victory, and he's going to be a net once again for the Grizzlies. And Idaho's going to go with a different guy. Adam Schill played last night. They're going to go with Jake Kupski, who was a guy that really carried the mail for them at points last season. He's got a ton of talent, and he played well against Utah last year. So we got another interesting goaltending matchup between Preek and Kupski. And I think when you talk about the stars of the Grizzlies, you got to look at Taryn Fizer. You know, Utah scored 8 goals through 3 games this season. Fizer has 4 of them, and he's got 4 goals on 6 shots. So he's got a shooting percentage through 3 games of about 67%. And you're talking about guys that have been key for the Grizzlies. He had an outstanding training camp, and Taryn Fizer has just continued that with an outstanding first 3 games of the regular year.
Yeah, we have some roster changes. Tyson's going to tell you that before we face off. I don't know, we're about 17 minutes away from face-off here at Idaho Central Arena. The reason this is such a big game is because from here, the Utah Grizzlies move on for an entire week in Kansas City before they head down to the Dallas Metroplex to take on Allen. So tonight becomes an incredibly important game. And if you don't know the schedule, the Utah Grizzlies are on the road for a long stretch here through just about Thanksgiving. They'll be back at the Maverick Center on November 17th. Make sure you get your tickets right now at utahgrizzlies.com, because the building, again, I want to remind all of our great Grizzlies fans, the building in Salt Lake City, the Maverick Center, is going to look tremendously different the next time we see you in person, November 17th, with all of the video upgrades, the center hung big Jumbotron everybody's been asking about. It's all going in, and it all should be ready to go on November 17th. But Tyson, one of the big stories tonight, I think, again, is Lucas Preek, and you talked about it in our meeting before we got on the air here tonight. He was a guy that I think a lot of teams in this league knew that they could rattle a little bit. What changes, what is different with Lucas Preek now from what you've seen in the past?
I think it's just experience. I think it's knowing that he can control the things he can control, and I don't think he's really as worried about, you know, the guy in the crease or the guy slashing him as he's, you know, focusing on his job. And I think that, you know, if you think about turning points of Lucas Preek, I kind of think about the LA Kings not giving him an NHL entry-level contract, because you're talking about a guy that was drafted in 2019, had a pretty good year with Rapid City last year, and he was with Rapid City even though they were a Coyotes affiliate, because the Kings do not have an ECHL affiliate. At least they didn't last year. I'm not sure about this season, but you're talking about a guy that, you know, is just growing up a little bit, you know, 22 years old, and I think with that experience, you know, comes a little bit of maturity, and I think Lucas Preek has felt that. And I think one of the things I noticed, it's kind of tough in goalie pads to notice it too much, but looks like he's in better shape this season, and it looks like a guy that really has made a big jump from year 1 to year 2, and he actually was pretty good in year 1 as well.
Yeah, a guy who's been pretty good in year 1 is Cameron Wright. Last night we saw that Cam got his first professional goal, an empty netter that turned out, by the way, as you're well aware, it turned out that that first professional goal for Cam was also the game-winning goal in the contest last night, as it got crazy at the end. If you were able to join us last night for the broadcast, you know that. Had a few minutes to catch up with Cam Wright this morning at Morning Skate, and we asked him about that first professional goal.
First goal. You know, obviously it was a good one to get for the team. You don't always want it to be an empty net goal, but it was ended up, I guess, mattering a lot, and it was a good defensive shift by our line, and it was nice to get rewarded and kind of put the game away there.
But on paper, it looks like a sleek one-timer from a terrible angle or something spectacular, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
That's got to feel good, though. I mean,
absolutely.
In that moment, right?
Absolutely. I felt like maybe I could have got one last weekend, so it was nice to get off the schneid and just not worry about it anymore and just play, and hopefully I'll get a few more here the next few weekends.
It seems like, I don't know that guys are targeting you, but I mean, you've had some moments these first 2 weekends where that hit last night was a pretty good one. I mean, Rapid came for you a couple of times. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's just me getting used to pro. I got to start getting my head up more. Guys are kind of looking for hits a little more than they probably were in college. So, I don't think it's guys targeting. I'm maybe put myself in vulnerable positions and you just kind of do what you can. And if they're going to take a 5-minute, then hey, let's go score on the power play, win the game.
By the way, what does it say about the club? I mean, that was a tough-fought game. I mean, that was really close through and through. What does that say about the club, and how are you guys feeling after that?
Yeah, 2 points is 2 points, so we're super happy about that. Idaho had a good weekend last weekend, so beating them in their home opener feels really good. But, that's not a perfect game for us. We got a lot more to give, and we're excited to show a full 60 tonight.
Well, congratulations on your first goal. Stay healthy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Cam Wright. I know, Tyson, you're a big fan of Cameron Wright. You like what you've seen from him. You hear him talking about that first goal. Talk to me about Cam Wright. What do you like about him?
Well, he had an outstanding college career, 4 years at Bowling Green, and then last season was a big part of Denver winning a national championship, as he was part of a Frozen Four team, and he was a big part of that in terms of goal scoring. And so I was really excited to see what he's able to bring to the table this year in his first pro season. And through 3 games, he's got 15 shots, which lead the Grizzlies, and there's not a single Grizzly skater that has more than 10 shots through 3 games. So Cameron Wright's been a high-volume shooter, and he's somebody you want the puck on the stick in either the left circle or the right circle, because he can put it away. Obviously, his first goal was an empty netter, but he'll talk about it 20 years from now as if it's just a rocket one-timer from the right circle.
Right.
Something he'll never forget. And so he's been key, and you think about he had mentioned kind of the adjustment to the pro game, and teams really taking a run at him. Well, last night Willie Nerum in the second period hit him up high with an elbow. Nerum got a 5 and a 10, a 5-minute major and a 10-minute game misconduct last night, and Nerum is out tonight, serving a 1-game suspension for that hit on Cameron Wright. And Idaho's a little bit shorthanded with a combination of injuries and illnesses, and in Nerum's case, a suspension. I think they're only going with 15 skaters tonight. Obviously you can have 17, so we'll see if that makes a little bit of a difference in the third period this evening.
We shall find out. Don't go anywhere. We're about 10 minutes away from face-off. Also coming up next, you are going to hear from the head coach and general manager of your Utah Grizzlies. Ryan Kanasowicz and I talked before the game. That's in 30 seconds after this from Operation Lifesaver.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Idaho Central Arena as we are leading you up to face-off between the Utah Grizzlies and the Idaho Steelheads. A sensational game last night. Tyson Whiting will have all the call for you coming up here in about 10 minutes. But before the game, we had a chance to catch up with your head coach and general manager, Ryan Kanasowicz, and we asked him about that hotly contested Game 1 last night.
Really competitive game last night, really close game last night. Were you happy with what you saw?
Yeah, obviously we came out on the right side. There's some things that, again, early in the season we need to clean up, and the guys are starting to understand the message that we're delivering, and you can start seeing it in their play.
What did you think of Lucas Parikh? I mean, he obviously had a pretty solid night, but what were your thoughts on his play?
I thought he was really steady. I don't think we gave him a lot of grade A chances. I mean, they had a few, we had a few, but I thought he was really sharp and seeing the puck really well, and he obviously won us a game.
It seemed like your D-men were really solid. A lot of block shots, a lot of guys selling out, a lot of sticks and shooting and passing lanes. How has your defense been to start the season?
I think we've been rock solid back there. We got a veteran group back there, so we expect nothing less from them. And in order to win games, especially on the road, you're going to have to eat a shot or two and have good sticks. And I thought we did a good job of that last night.
Yeah, you were probably not surprised how physical Idaho came out, and that seemed to ramp up. Did you see them getting more physical as the game went on, and do you expect that tonight?
I didn't think they were super physical. I mean, they got a couple guys that are, but in their home rink, they're going to come out. They want to get the crowd going, and we'll expect them to hit, but we want to up our intensity and our physicality as well.
Yeah, and Trent Miner goes out, he goes up, he gets promoted. What does that do to your goaltending rotation?
Not much. We got Lucas here, and we got Garrett Metcalf. two guys that I fully believe in, and you know, there's a reason why we signed these guys, and happy to have them. And you know, any one of those three is in our net, we're feeling pretty good.
Good luck tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
Welcome back to Idaho Central Arena as we are getting you ready for face-off about 7 minutes away. Game 2 of this weekend series for your Utah Grizzlies against the Idaho Steelheads. A lot of movement in this league, as you guys are aware. Players come and players go, and that is not exclusive to the Utah Grizzlies. But Tyson, I know there have been some roster adjustments and lineup changes. Why don't you tell us about all of those?
After last night's game, Trent Miner was reassigned to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. He was the backup goaltender last night, and who knows, if he was in a Grizzlies uniform tonight, he might have gotten the start. But it's going to be Lucas Preek for the second straight game, and the Grizzlies' backup goaltender tonight will be Garrett Metcalf. And as Ryan Kanasowicz mentioned in the last segment, you talk about the goaltending depth. He is comfortable with all three guys. Preek gets the start after stopping 38 of 39 in last night's game. One injury, James Shearer, got injured in last night's contest. Hopefully he won't be out for too long, but it might be an injury that does sit him out for maybe the remainder of this road trip. He'll be replaced tonight by Kyle Pouncey, as the Grizzlies will go with 11 forwards and 6 defensemen tonight. Pouncey replaces Shearer in the Grizzlies lineup. It looks like very similar forward lines for Ryan Kanasowicz's crew, as the Grizzlies are 2-1 on the season. They have won 2 straight one-goal contests. Last season they went 19, 14, 2, and 1 on the road, and they got off to a good start last night as they are 1-0 away from the friendly confines of Maverick Center. The 6 defensemen tonight, the starters are Connor McDonald, the Grizzlies captain. McDonald is a +2, which is time for the team lead with Ben Tardif. He'll be paired up with Victor Bartley, who's got 121 games of NHL experience. He spent the last 3 seasons in the KHL. Bartley wearing number 42 for the Grizzlies. So it's McDonald and Bartley starting. We'll also see Bryson Martin, who's scoreless in 3 games, but he is a +1. And watch out for Martin, who did score a little bit with Indy last season, 4 goals and 19 assists in under 40 games. And we'll also see Nate Klerman, second full season as a pro out of the University of Notre Dame. He was Notre Dame's captain his senior year. Kyle Pouncey is in the lineup for the first time this season. He'll be wearing number 23. And Andrew Nilsson has 3 assists in his last 2 games. He got an assist in the second period goal last night that was scored by Taryn Fizer that got Utah a 1-0 lead. So it's going to be McDonald and Bartley starting. We'll also see a lot of Bryson Martin, Nate Klerman, as well as Andrew Nilsson and Kyle Pouncey. Starting forwards for the Grizzlies, it was the same 3 that started last night's game. Keaton Jamison has 2 penalty minutes in 3 games. I got a feeling he's going to find the stat sheet tonight. He'll be wearing number 12. He'll be lined up with Cameron Wright, who will be on one wing. Wright got his first professional goal with 39 seconds left in regulation. He leads the Grizzlies with 15 shots through 3 games. In fact, no other Grizzly has as many as 10 shots through 3 contests. And Zach Sekos, wearing number 17, he's got 2 goals in 3 games. He scored a goal in each of the first 2 games. He was left off the stat sheet last night, but he made his impact felt with a lot of key face-off victories towards the end, and he played a great 2-way game. And even though it didn't show up on the stat sheet, Zach Sekos was outstanding for the Grizzlies last night. He'll be wearing number 17, and he'll play the center role once again. He had an outstanding college career at Clarkson before turning pro late last season. Other forwards are expected to see tonight. Well, you can't say enough about Taryn Fizer. In the season opener, he had 1 goal and 1 shot 8 days ago against Rapid City. Last Saturday, he had 2 goals on 2 shots, and last night in 3 games. We'll also see Dylan Fitz, who plays a solid two-way game. He was great on the penalty kill for the Grizzlies last night. He'll be wearing number 13. We'll also see Ben Tardif. I got a feeling he's due for a goal. He's got an assist in each of the first 3 games of this season. Tardif led the Grizzlies with 39 assists and 59 points last year. Tyler Penner, the Grizzlies Iron Man from last year. He's got 2 penalty minutes in 3 games, and he's somebody I feel is due to have a big one here tonight on Saturday here in Boise, as he had some success against the Steelheads last season. You talk about guys playing a good two-way game. How about Dakota Raby? He's got 1 goal in 3 games this season, but he just intercepted and deflected one centering pass after another last night. He was outstanding on the defensive side of things. He'll be out there again wearing number 22. We'll also see Cam Strong, who I thought played his best game as a Grizzly last night. He's got 1 assist in 3 games. Brandon Cutler made his Grizzlies season debut last night. He was signed by the Grizzlies on Tuesday. Cutler did a pretty good job on the faceoff circle in the second and third periods, and that's a guy that really played on the wings exclusively with the Grizzlies last year. And he's playing center again this evening. And that's the 11 defensemen for the Grizzlies tonight. Jamison, Wright, and Sekos are the starters. Starting defensive pairing is Connor McDonald and Victor Bartley. And I think when you look at the Idaho Steelheads, as they'll be set to hit the ice here in a couple minutes as the lights are out here in Boise, they've got a little bit of a Halloween theme, even though it looks like they're just going to wear their traditional white jerseys tonight. They've got Jake Kupski in net this evening. He'll be playing his first game this year. He was Idaho's starter for the majority of last season. We'll get to his stats in a couple minutes, but the Steelheads are going to be a little bit short-handed with a combination of Willie Niram being out with a suspension, injuries, and illness. Steelheads are only going with 15 skaters tonight, but you know, with a team that's got the character that Idaho has, they could be every bit as dangerous. You know, a team that can score goals the way Idaho can in bunches. 6 goals in their first 2 games this season. They only had 1 goal, and that was with 13 seconds left in regulation by Ryan Domowski. And Monty, as you look at this Idaho Steelheads team, it was a pretty good defensive effort both ways, but you know, a team like that can score goals in bunches, they might find a way to be due here tonight. And so I think the Grizzlies, defensively, very disciplined last night. It's got to be that same way, maybe even then some here tonight.
Yeah, I think when you talk about discipline, Tyson, I think you're exactly right. You have got to be disciplined to beat this team, and I think you're going to see that the Grizzlies are going to want to play fast. They're going to want to be aggressive again, and I think there is no doubt that the Idaho Steelheads want to try and slow this team down, and they want to do that by being physical.
Starters for the Idaho Steelheads, Owen Hedrick wearing number 7. He was instrumental last night. He had the puck on his stick quite a bit. He'll be paired up with Matt Register, a possible future Hall of Famer in this league. Register wearing number 43. He's 6'3", 230 pounds, and might have the longest stick in the league. Starting forwards, A.J. White, their captain. White so far this season in 3 games. He was their leading scorer last year. White's got 2 goals and 1 assist. He'll be lined up next to Justin Misiak, the cousin of former Grizzly Ryan Misiak. He's playing his first season as a pro. He played last season at Michigan Tech. And Jordan Kawaguchi, he's somebody to watch out for on the stat sheet, because in 3 games he's got 2 goals and 1 assist. And he actually had a pretty decent year last season in the AHL with the Texas Stars. Looks like a good crowd filing in here tonight. Not quite a sellout. Boise State is playing a football game just down the road here. But it does look like a pretty good Saturday night. Crowds filed in here. And now, our national anthem. That was our national anthem here from Idaho Central Arena. Grizzlies wearing the black jerseys with white numbers, white on the elbows, a little bit of professional green trim. Idaho wearing a white jersey with black numbers. Oh, the lights are still out, so I can't tell if that's black or blue on the shoulders. It is black on the shoulders. I should recognize it because they've worn those jerseys for quite a few years. One of the best jerseys in the league. We got another good jersey matchup tonight, and we got a good crowd here on a Saturday evening.
I love this Utah Grizzlies jersey. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite in all of the ECHL, and I'll tell you, if you're on board tonight, big shout out to Nadine Hellowell. Hello, Kobe, cool kid watching us tonight. Jared Dane, our guy, says, my money is on Pfizer. The kid is on fire. Christy Buchanan says, let's go, boys. Indeed, let's go, boys, because this is a huge game. Game 2 of the weekend set between your Utah Grizzlies and the Idaho Steelheads. It is never boring when we make the venture up to Boise, and with all the action, the voice of the Utah Grizzlies is Tyson Whiting.
Face off at center ice is won by the Grizzlies. Utah skating from left to right here in the first period as Connor McDonald gets it. He'll toss ahead to Sekos at center ice, who dumps it into the right corner. Cameron Wright and AJ White. White gets there first. Spins it back towards the left corner. Idaho deep in their zone as Hedrick over there along with Justin Misiak. Now it squirts back towards the blue line. Steelheads will carry it out towards center ice as White will bounce it off of McDonald. Now Wright will toss it off the far wing boards as the puck goes past the Idaho goal line, and around the net is the Steelheads as A.J. White gets it back. He'll skate along the bench area, across center ice, and he'll fly it high into the air. It's over the glove of Lucas Preek and off the backboards. As Sekos over there, A.J. White in the right point, keeps it in and flips it back off the end glass. Goes to Andrew Nilsson in his first shift of the night. Nilsson's got 3 assists in his last 2 games. He's a big guy, 6'4", 230. Stands right there behind Lucas Preek, and he'll give it to Ben Tardif in his first shift of the evening. Tardif's got an assist in each of the 3 games. Tardif over to Nilsson at center ice. Andrew gains the line, make that Brandon Cutler. Cutler over to Nilsson, one-timer, and that one gets blocked. Cutler and Tardif, as the puck goes to Pfizer. Slot shot, saved by Kupski as he holds on as Taran Pfizer with the first good look on either side, and it's saved by Jake Kupski as we're about 18:48 left in the first. Still no score, but a good first minute for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, playing behind the Idaho net is exactly what you want to do, and I think they did a great job there already. The captain, Connor McDonald, has made 3 plays to impact this game, so the Grizzlies are off to a great start.
Offensive zone draw won by the Grizzlies, but it goes past Nate Klerman all the way to the Grizzlies zone. Klerman runs it down with good speed. He'll skate around the net as he's being shadowed by Ryan Domowski. As Klerman crosses center ice left wing, gains the line, tries to feed the slot. Register picks it off. Goes to Domowski wearing number 15. Watch out for him. He's got 4 goals already this season. He'll get it to Colton Keller. Keller to the right side in the circle. Take a shot. And a stick save by Preek. And the rebound goes out to Tyler Penner. He'll feed it ahead to Tardif. Ben crosses center ice. Left wing pass to Pfizer. Pfizer gains the line. Left circle. I tried to chip it over to Penner. It glanced off a stick. Penner gathers it. Spins it back around the boards. Big collision between Bryson Martin and Colton Keller. Keller gets the puck. He's a physical player. He'll feed it over to Domowski. He tries to dump it in, but fanned on it, and it goes over towards Bryson Martin. We'll talk about the ice surface here a little bit later on as Martin at center ice gets it poked away, and the Steelheads come back into the zone. Jack Becker gets over to Zach Walker, pass behind him. Left point shot, saved by Preek as Nick Canati got it off the boards and fired away, but Preek was able to make the first save of the game, or second save for him. 17:50 left in the first, still no score.
Good to see Kyle Pouncey on the ice wearing number 23 for your Utah Grizzlies. He's in for James Shearer tonight, so Kyle's got big shoes to fill, but you know what? This is what we talk about with this Grizzlies team. That blue line group, the defensemen are very deep and a lot of quality there, Tyson. I wouldn't expect much of a fall off.
Pouncey replaces James Shearer, who might be out for a little bit with an injury. As Grizzlies win the draw, they're in their own zone. McDonald gets over to Penner, back over to Fitz. It goes past him to center ice. Raby overskates it. Now he gets it back and dumps it in. As Jake Kupski behind his net. It was Adam Schill last night for the Steelheads. Over to Zach Walker, far side. He'll feed it across off the boards. And it's taken by Nick Canati, who's got good speed. He'll feed it to the slot. Becker with a shot, and it goes wide. Now rebound shot, and that one goes wide, taken by Jade Miller, number 26. He played for South Carolina last year. Now right side, Walker with a shot, saved by Preek. Rebound goes out to the slot. Now Walker with a shot, that one goes wide as well. And the puck goes to the left point. Steelheads keep it in. Miller around the boards to Becker, who's behind the net. He'll skate towards the far corner over to Register. He gets blasted by Bartley. Puck ends up back in the right point. Steelheads still in the offensive zone. Good job by Penner as it pokes back to center ice. Hedrick gets it over towards Kawaguchi right side. He'll take a shot as he's falling down. And a stick save by Preek, and it flies out of play off the protective netting. 16:53 left in the first, but a good stretch there by the Steelheads, who are up to 4 shots. Grizzlies yet to officially take one on the scoreboard.
First period action tonight brought to you by Rio Tinto, one of our newest partners. You know the name Rio Tinto, an iconic brand in the state of Utah. A pleasure to have Rio Tinto on the broadcast tonight. But I'll tell you, Vic Bartley right there on the wall made a huge play, not on the puck, on the body, and that's something you love to see out of the veteran.
And that's on Matt Register, who might be Idaho's biggest defenseman. Cutler will take the face-off against A.J. White. White was with the Grizzlies 2 years ago. White wins the face-off, goes to Patrick Kudla. He'll take a shot that might have glanced off a Preek's stick. Rebound goes to Utah. Johnny Walker in his first shift tonight, over to Cam Strong. Strong, number 26, played for 2 different teams last year. As Idaho gets it back into the Grizzlies zone, but Clermont has it, and he'll feed it over to Nilsson. Nilsson is Strong, left wing pass. Grizzlies enter the zone. Now Walker's slot shot, and that one gets blocked away. Cutler tries to feed Strong out in front. It kicks high into the air and bounces into the Grizzlies zone. Preek skates towards his right and will drop it back for Nate Clermont, who skates behind the Utah net as the Grizz spread the ice. About 4 minutes in, still no score. Idaho's outshot Utah 4-0. Clermont with a right wing pass to Cameron Wright. Wright feeds over to the left side. Grizzlies enter the zone, but they're offside. Draw will come back to neutral ice about 4 minutes in.
Yeah, and you know, it'll be interesting to see what Brandon Cutler brings to the show tonight, because that was his first game last night, and you got to imagine it's really difficult to play your way into shape. He's not had a lot of practice time with the Grizzlies, so one would imagine that his legs may be feeling a little heavy tonight.
Draw at neutral ice, the 2 number 17s. Ty Pelton-Bice wins it against Zach Sekos. Nick Canati gets it out to center ice. Domowski dumps it in. Preek behind his net. Will feed it over to the far side. The Grizzlies skate from left to right as we see it from Boise. Utah tosses to center ice looking for Wright, but pass didn't connect, and icing is called on the Grizzlies with 15:54 left in the first.
Really good conversation with Cameron Wright before the game tonight. If you missed it on the broadcast, we'll try to get that up on Twitter for you. But just a really interesting guy. Cameron Wright is well aware that was a big goal for him. He got his first professional goal last night. Darn near got his head taken off on the near boards, which led to a suspension for Idaho. But a good kid in number 15, Cam Wright.
Grizzlies win the draw. Keaton Jamison wins it. As Sekos will feed it high into the air, bouncing puck at center ice, and it looked like it wasn't called playing with a high stick as Utah will play on. Idaho thought it was, as they argued the case, as the puck is at the Grizzlies' offensive line. And now it goes to Nick Canati as he'll feed it across to Heiskanen, wearing number 74, a former Cornell product. He'll get it to Pelton-Bice, who dumps it in from center ice. As Preek behind his net, Grizzlies get it over to Kyle Pouncey, wearing number 23, second year with the Grizzlies. He'll feed it across. Bryson Martin tosses towards Steelheads territory, glanced off of Sekos' stick, and Jack Becker will take it for Idaho. As the Steelheads get over to Zach Walker near the Grizzlies bench, he'll dump it in. Register runs after it with long strides. Preek will feed it over to the far side. Puck bounces off the boards. Tardif gets it. He'll toss it to Brandon Cutler. Cutler skates down the middle. Cutler over to Pfizer. Right side, take a shot. Saved by Kupski. Rebound goes to Pfizer. Tries to feed Cutler out in front. Pass goes wide, and it rolls to the left point. Grizzlies. Tardif, left side shot, and that one gets blocked about 5 feet in front of Kupski. Rebound goes to Pfizer. Pfizer battling along the boards with Register. Now it goes up top. Utah feeds it to the slot for Cutler. Cutler back over to Tardif. It glanced off his stick, rolls towards the end wall. Tardif across to Pfizer. Pfizer gets pinned by Register. Pfizer did get stronger in the offseason, but Idaho comes away with the puck. Zach Walker with long hair. He'll dump it in, and it goes to Connor McDonald, the Grizzlies captain. He'll toss it off the near wall. Pfizer throws it to center ice. Idaho looked to pick it up, but it went past them. Left point, Tardif dumps it into the right corner as he comes off the ice after a shift. Right side fits with a shot, saved by Kupski. Rebound goes out to Idaho. Raby literally kicks it towards the middle, but Idaho's there as the Grizzlies retreat defensively. Idaho gets it back to center ice. Kudla will feed it ahead. Now the Steelheads into the right side, gain the line as they take a shot, saved by Preek, and a big-time hit by Nilsson after Idaho took the shot. Puck is in the near corner as Nate Clermont being shadowed by Justin Misiak as it goes towards the near side as Raby. He gets pinned by White. Raby gets pushed into his own corner. And now the Steelheads trying to feed it to the right point, but nobody was there as Canati had skated towards the slot. Canati runs it down. Kudla over to the near side. And it goes back to Kudla on the near side as they spread the ice. 6.5 minutes in, still no score as Idaho crosses center ice. Canati skates in towards his left as the Steelheads deep in their offensive zone. as Domowski feeds to Keller. Back up top. Heiskanen over to Domowski. Gets to the middle for Keller. He'll take a shot. That one's blocked by Pouncey. Grizzlies will flip it high into the air. Bouncing puck at the Idaho blue line. Steelheads will toss it to center ice, and it goes out of play. 13:07 left in the first. Still no score.
Yeah, boy, and I'll tell you, that was a very interesting sequence to start this period. But the Utah Grizzlies absolutely, I think had the best of this play so far. Lucas Perique has been fantastic. No score, 13:07 to go. You're listening to Utah Grizzlies hockey.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
It's game 2 of an 8-game road trip as the Grizzlies won last night by a 2-1 score. They'll head to the road for Kansas City for 3 games starting on Tuesday night, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday of next week. And then after that, the Grizzlies will be in Allen, Texas the following weekend for a 3-game and 4-day stretch. And they were an outstanding road team last season, had a winning record of 19-14, 2-1. They got off on the right stretch last night, and they're hoping to get the sweep of the weekend series here in Boise. As a draw, offensive zone face-off by the Grizzlies. Utah tries to feed Jamison out in front, and that one's picked off as Idaho will carry it out to neutral ice. As Heiskanen, 6'4", 220, will dump it in. Connor McDonald did a great job of boxing him out. Now McDonald has the puck as he'll feed it over to Cameron Wright. He'll throw a rink-wide pass off the boards. It connects. Sekos skates towards the goal line, now around the net. Sekos now on the right side. Throws it up top for McDonald. He'll take a shot. Oh, he got redirected and deflects out of play. Oh, what an idea there as the Grizzlies had it in the high slot. Shot got redirected. Instead of going in, it just bounced off of, I think, Kupski and out of play.
It did. What a deflection there by Cam Wright, but a heck of a play down here by Connor McDonald, the captain in his own zone. Broke up the rush and then played back off the redirect to start that break. But I'll tell you again, there's that guy, Cameron Wright, Johnny on the spot in the right spot. No score, 12:39 to go in the first.
Idaho's outshot Utah 4-3. Face-off won by Idaho as they cut behind Cutler. Now Cutler takes it away. He'll feed it to the right corner as Cutler over there along with Pfizer. Idaho comes out of the pile with the puck as Kawaguchi will feed it down the middle. Now at neutral ice. Idaho trying to get around Nate Clermont. Clermont doing an outstanding job boxing out Justin Misiak. Clermont will toss it across to Nilsson. What a play by Clermont. Now he gets the puck on the left wing. He'll step over the offensive line. Drops off for Cutler. He'll take a shot. Saved by Kupski. And Idaho comes away with the rebound. Pass ahead to Idaho. They'll carry it out to center ice. They don't have numbers, so they'll just dump it in at the end of a shift as A.J. White comes off. And the puck deep in the Grizzlies zone. Now to the right point. Running it down and trying to keep it in is Hedrick. He's able to. Nilsson back behind his net. We'll get it over to Cutler. He feeds it across to Clermont. Gets it ahead to Pfizer near the Grizzlies bench at neutral ice. Over to Tardif, who one time taps it deep into the Steelhead zone. Grizzlies make a full line change. Penner, Fitz, and Raby out there, along with Pouncey and Bryson Martin as the Steelheads carry it out from right to left. Rink-wide pass to Jade Miller. Glanced off his stick and rolls around the boards. Preek behind the net. Will feed it over to the right side, taken by Fitz. Fitz will toss it ahead off the glass. Raby runs it down. Raby in the left corner gets it. Raby around the net. Keeps the puck. Gets around Walker. As Raby gets it poked away. And good defensive play by Jack Becker. And Raby over in the area. I think Raby and Becker were college teammates together at the University of Michigan for a few years, if I remember right. As Raby over in the high slot skates towards his right. Drops off for Pouncey, but the puck exited the zone. Pouncey over to Martin. He'll get it ahead to Fitz. And Dillon will dump it in. Good shift by the Grizzlies. They were in the offensive zone for the majority of that shift as they get some fresh skaters on the ice. Victor Bartley will dump it back in as Kanadi along the boards. Cam Strong trying to run after him, but Kanadi throws a pass. And now Zach Walker at center ice. Left wing dumps it in. And Preek behind his net will cut it off, and he'll give it to Connor McDonald as we're about halfway through the first period. Still no score. 10:34 and counting left. Is over to Johnny Walker. He'll feed it to the right side for Pfizer. He's behind the defense. Pfizer with a shot. Saved by Kupski. And the whistle blows.
Oh, wow.
Looks like Johnny Walker and Colton Keller. Keller threw a push at Walker near the corner. and we'll see if any penalties come out of it.
There'll be 2. As you can see, the official has his arm up. This is going to be a Utah Grizzlies power play, as there was a very high cross-check there. And this could easily be cross-checking, or this could absolutely be roughing. But it looks like Ryan Domovsky is going to head to the box here, and it's going to be a Powerade power play for your Utah Grizzlies. And boy, Cam Strong, and I don't know what you say about Johnny Walker, because every time Johnny Walker is on the ice, he finds himself in the middle of these situations. And now a huge moment halfway through this first period, as your Utah Grizzlies now are going to have the man advantage. You feel like this is another one of those moments from last night where the Grizzlies can seize control.
And get an early lead and play with the lead, especially as the ice surface might deteriorate as the night progresses. The ice was a little bit choppy last night, and they were working on it big time during the game, or before the game, before warm-ups. As Utah wins the face-off, Nielsen to the left side, across to Pfizer, is open. Oh, he tries to feed it out in front. Shot saved by Kupski, and the Steelheads clear it out, as it looked like Pfizer fed it to Fitz out in front of the net. Fitz didn't really have much of a shooting angle, so he was pretty close to the Idaho goaltender. Utah skates from left to right, deep in their own zone, as Pfizer drops it back off for Tardif. Ben gets it to Cutler. Cutler along the left wing, crosses center ice, drives it around the boards, goes back towards the right point. Fitz has it towards his ankle as it bounces off the referee at neutral ice as Idaho tried to clear it out. Now Cutler to the left wing. He'll get it to Nilsson. He's at the left point. He'll try to feed Pfizer out in front. It's picked off, and Jonas Vandenbergs couldn't clear it out. Now it bounced off a Nilsson stick, and A.J. White will clear it down towards Lucas Perique.
Hit the official right in the face with that clearing attempt, as it looks like he may be trying to count his teeth.
He might not have many left as Idaho clears it back in as Utah is trying to enter the zone again. As Grizzlies get some fresh bodies out there, Victor Bartley and Bryson Martin. As Bartley has the puck, he'll get it over to Jamison. Drops it off for Wright. Watch out for him on this power play. Over to Bryson Martin, who skates down the middle. He'll step over the offensive line and dump it in as he'll get his own pass off the end wall. Martin feeds it up top for Bartley. Victor fakes to his left, gets it to the right side for Jamison. Jamison towards the goal line to right. Now Jamison will pick it back up as he'll skate around the net. He'll throw it to the left point for Sekos. Now up top for Bartley. He'll feed it to the right side for Wright. Back to Sekos. He's got the blue line near him. Sekos now skate towards the far corner. Drop it back off for Bartley. 20 seconds left in the power play, but Bartley couldn't quite reach to keep it in as Grizzlies will back it out right in his own zone as Idaho will get some fresh skaters. 10 seconds left in the power play, still no score. As right side, crosses center ice and dumps it in. Running after it, Sekos, but getting there first is Owen Hedrick, who played well last night. And he'll toss it to Bartley, who somehow was able to keep it in, making some sort of soccer-type move. The Steelheads are back at full strength. Domowski has the puck. He's got 4 goals this season. He skates down the middle, now veers out to the left. He'll take a shot, and Connor McDonald gets a stick in the way. Now to the right side, Pelton Bice over towards Hedrick. He'll feed it around the boards. Domowski couldn't reach it. Now to the near side. Register feeds it back to the left point. Keller runs down to get it. He'll get it over to Hedrick. Across to Register. Register fires it towards the net and it goes wide. Rebound rolls along the boards on the far side as Keller spins it back around. Now Victor Bartley runs after it. Bartley gathers the puck, bounces it off of Pelton Bice. Pelton Bice kept it in. He'll feed it down the middle for Keller. He'll take a shot and it's blocked by McDonald. Captain doing his job tonight as Register. Over to Keller. He feeds it across, and picking it off is Victor Bartley. Bartley gets it along the near side and clears it out.
Boy, that's a huge play because the Grizzlies were out of gas, that same power play unit, and been on the ice there for about 2 minutes.
Hedrick with the puck. He'll feed it ahead. Kawaguchi gains the offensive line, throws it towards Misiak along the end wall. Misiak gets hit by Nilsson and gets divorced from the puck. Utah gets it with Nate Klerman. He's along the right side. He'll feed it to the left for Penner. Penner steps over the blue line, stops near the boards. I tried to feed Strong out in front and lifted on him a little bit. Now Strong has it in the corner. He gets tripped up, no call. Patrick Kudla in the area. Raby with the puck. It's blasted by Kanadi. No call on the play. Luckily, Raby was able to get back to his feet. Puck goes back to center ice. Penner runs it down. Now ahead to Klerman. Nate will dump it in from just outside his offensive blue line. Kupski plays behind his net. He wears number 1. Less than 7 minutes left in the first period. Still no score. Idaho carries it out to center ice. Nick Kanadi fanned on dumping it in. Now he's trying to locate it. Cutler feeds it back to center ice. Now the Steelheads toss it back to their blue line. They'll get it ahead to Becker. Tried to dump it in deep, but it was picked off by Nilsson in the Grizzlies zone. He'll get it ahead to Tardif. Ben on the left side fakes a pass. Now he feeds it across near the bench area at center ice for Bryson Martin, who dumps it in. Kupski behind his net plays it. 6:20 and counting left in the first. Still no score. Goals are at a premium here as Walker gets it ahead. Now Idaho carries it in 3-on-3. Over to the right side. Shot. And that one goes wide. Puck rolls towards the left point. Register fires towards the net, and that one's blocked by Pouncey. Ahead the Grizzlies go at neutral ice. Pfizer to Tardif on the right side. Ben at the point has it kicked out to center ice. Grizzlies reset as Sekos over to Bryson Martin as the Grizzlies peel back into their own zone. Martin makes a nice move on Jack Becker, who will skate towards the bench as Sekos skates down the middle, gets around one skater. Keller hacking away, but Sekos keeps the puck at center ice and dumps it in. Kupski behind his net. He'll feed it to Kanadi on the near side as the Steelheads skate from right to left. Idaho crosses center ice. Jade Miller flips it high into the air. It bounces in the corner on one hop. McDonald on the near side gets it to Jamison. Jamison gets hit by Kanadi. He gets on two knees but gets back to his feet. Jamison over to Bartley. It goes past him. Demowski kept it in the right point. He'll feed it to Kanadi. He's open. I tries to feed it out in front. Preek makes the save. As Kanadi found a body out in front, but Preek was able to make the save, and I think that was Keller.
Yes, it was.
Grizzlies have it behind their net. Jamison over to the far side for Sekos. Sekos, blue line to blue line pass, instead dumps it in. No, they called icing. I don't know. Wright looked like he had the angle. Now somebody wants to go after Cameron Wright for the third straight game, and that's Nick Kanadi.
And they're upset that Cameron Wright shot the puck after the whistle. I cannot believe they called that icing.
That was a little bit surprising.
That Cam Wright, in icing again, if you're on your own side of the red line and you shoot it all the way down behind your opponent's goal, and your guy's not there, and the Steelheads get there first, that's icing. But you have Cam Wright right in the area. Why are you calling that icing?
It looked like he got there first. I think they're talking it over because I think the referee, he's going to point to the Grizzly zone. I'm not sure the linesmen were really sure about that call either.
And how does Kanadi not get a penalty there? He quite literally punched Cam Wright right in the face.
Draw's going to be in the Grizzly zone.
Man.
5:04 left in the first. Steelheads with 5 shots, Utah with 4, although it seems like both offenses have been a little bit more active than that. Last night, the defenses of both teams were on point, and you talk about Connor McDonald with some great moves by the Grizzlies defensively. McDonald with a couple great defensive plays.
And by the way, they are allowing the Grizzlies to change, so I think they're bringing the draw down here, but they're allowing the Grizzlies to change, acknowledging that was not icing.
Usually when they do that, though, unless they change the rule, they'd put it at center ice.
That's what I thought, too.
Draw in the near circle, Grizzly zone. Utah wins it. Nilsson on two knees will flip it over to Klurman. Nate gets it back to Nilsson. As Andrew on the near side feeds it across to Raby. Raby crosses center ice and dumps it in, but not all the way, as Idaho had a guy there. As Cody Heiskanen feeds it across. Idaho going with 15 skaters tonight, 10 forwards and 5 defensemen. Cudley gets back checked, and Raby poked it away. Now a turnover as Kawaguchi has a kick off him. Nilsson gathers it, and he'll feed it over to Penner. Penner across to Klurman. Nate gets it ahead. You got to be assertive with your passes on this ice condition. As the ice conditions can be a little bit soft here towards the end of the period. Kawaguchi feeds out in front. Shot! Preek cuts it off, and Becker was looking for it out in front. Now Becker to the right side, skates towards his left. Up top for Register, high slot, shot, and a blocker save by Preek. Rebound goes to the near side as Idaho along the boards. Becker gets pushed by Klurman, and Nilsson takes over the puck. 4 minutes left in the first period, still no score. Idaho 7 shots, Utah with 4. Nilsson behind his net. He's got Tardif cutting in front of him, but Nilsson keeps the puck. Now Cutler cuts in front of Nilsson. Nilsson keeps the puck. Nilsson gets over to Cutler on the left side. Cutler couldn't reach it at center as Walker gets it over towards Misiak. Right wing shot saved by Preek. Misiak with another shot to hit the side of Preek. And Nilsson gets it off the rebound and flips it high into the air to the Idaho blue line. Steelheads gather it. Register feeds it to Misiak at center ice. Now back to Register wearing number 43. He's got about a decade of experience in this league. Register with the long strides crosses center ice. Bouncing puck at neutral ice. Now Register regathers it. Left side, skates towards the corner. He's being shadowed by Pouncey. Register battling along the boards. He's now double teamed. Pfizer hacking away. So's Walker. Cutler will get it out to center ice. Tardif gathers it, and he'll try to feed it to Cutler, and he does on the right side. Cutler right side shot, and that one gets deflected off the stick of Owen Hedrick and goes wide. Tardif gets pinned along the boards. Cutler He gets it poked away. Zach Walker feeds it ahead. Great job by Bryson Martin getting a stick in the way. Otherwise, Domowski could have had a breakaway. Puck's in the left corner. Domowski battling. Great job by Pouncey boxing out Domowski from the puck. Now to the corner. Pouncey gets it ahead. Idaho picks it off. Keller, slot shot. That's blocked by Martin. And it goes to Ben Tardif. He skates towards his own corner. Now he starts the attack on the left wing. Tardif near the boards. Dumps it in. He felt like he got hit with a high stick. No call as he looks to the referee as Kudla will feed it to Ty Pelton-Bice, wearing number 17. He'll get it ahead to center ice. It glanced off of Keller's stick as he was trying to extend for it. Now ahead, it rolls towards Kupski, and he'll let the defenseman play as they skate around the net. Now to Kawaguchi. He'll bounce it off the far boards. We got 2:14 and counting left in the first. Still no score. Bartley in his own zone. Over to Connor McDonald. Connor out to neutral ice. It's gathered by Jamison. He'll step over the line over to Cameron Wright. Wright feeds a shot. Kick saved by Kupski. Rebound goes to the far corner. As Kawaguchi boxes Utah out. Haskin near the puck as Cameron Wright knocks him down. As the Steelheads move it ahead. Out to center ice. Colton Keller dumps it in. McDonald in the left corner. Battles with A.J. White. McDonald flipped it over towards the boards. Kawaguchi got it. Left circle. Kawaguchi gets a poke by Wright. Right near the area where he got elbowed last night. Kawaguchi feeds it out in front. Picked off by Bartley. Still attacking away. Hit the side of the net. Bartley near the boards. He skates to the corner. And puck rolls to Connor McDonald behind the Utah net. Back to Bartley. As Victor, wearing number 42, will feed it out to center ice. And dumping it in on one tap is Keaton Jamison as the Grizzlies make a full line change. 1:17 and counting left in the first. Idaho will throw it to center ice. It tapped off of Svanenberg's stick. Jonas is his first name. He's from Latvia as it's over to the right corner of the Grizzlies zone. Steelheads were able to make a full line change of their own as the Grizzlies. Klurman nudges to Nielsen behind the net. Nielsen ahead as it bounced off the stick of Fitz. Dillon runs it down. Hedrick in the corner as Fitz collides with Hedrick deep in the Idaho zone. Steelheads come back with it, skating from right to left. Zach Walker stops as he's being shadowed by Raby. He'll feed it down the middle to Kudla. He'll skate down the middle, cross center ice, and dump it in as it bounced off of Becker's stick. Rolls back to the near side as Idaho with a shot. Got redirected, and Parikh was able to make the save. As looked like Miller was looking for a centering pass. It bounced off of Kudla's stick onto Parikh. It was kind of a tricky bounce, but Parikh was able to cover up and make the stop.
Boy, a couple of situations there where the Grizzlies didn't help themselves. Andrew Nielsen playing with that puck for a long time behind his own net, turns into a turnover and a shot by the Steelheads. And again, this ice is not great again tonight. They're having issues with the equipment, so it's a little soft. You're seeing a lot of bouncing pucks tonight. As you said, partner, you got to be real decisive with the puck on your stick.
You got to be assertive with your passes. Any soft pass might not get there if you're trying to throw it a decent amount of distance. As the Grizzlies win the draw, Martin ahead to Tardif. These type of ice conditions, you just got to play north-south game. As Tardif dumps it in, no icing this time as Pfizer won the foot race. Idaho with the puck far side as it's in the Steelhead zone. Idaho skates towards their goal line, gets it across to register, and Matt gets it out to center ice. It hits off of Martin's glove, and he'll dump it back in. As the Grizzlies get back defensively, 12 seconds left in the first as it rolls along the far wall. Martin gets it at his blue line. He'll peel back into his own zone, feed it ahead to Cutler. 5 seconds left. Cutler over to Tardif on the left side. Tardif over to Cutler. One-timer saved by Kupski right at the buzzer. That one probably would have counted had that one gone through Kupski and into the back of the net. But nevertheless, we're scoreless after one for the second straight game. Idaho outshot Utah 9-6. You talk about an entertaining period filled with defense and goaltending. And Lucas Parikh once again doing an outstanding job stopping all 9 here in the second game of the weekend set. We'll come back and recap the first period when we come back. You're listening to the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
First intermission here at Idaho Central Arena, no score. It is Halloween weekend here in Boise, a lot of costumes. In fact, we got a guy named Brett Countryman, who I think used to work for the Utah Grizzlies. I think he's now in like his 5th season with the Steelheads. He's in a Stone Cold Steve Austin costume. And he's doing a Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonation as we're having fun here on a Saturday night. No score. Goals are at a premium. Kind of resembles my dating life over the last 10 years. Scoreless for Utah.
Okay.
6 shots. Taryn Pfizer leads the way with 2, which means that he is now 50% on shots for the year. 4 goals on 8 shots. And both of his looks were outstanding from the right side. And it's just a matter of time before he finds the back of the net once again. Dylan Fitz, Cameron Wright, Ben Tardif, and Brandon Cutler each with 1 shot. Cutler had a really good look right at the buzzer from the left side. Yeah. And Kupski was able to make the save there. Kupski didn't see a lot of action, only 6 shots, but he stopped all 6 of them. For Idaho, they had 9 shots, 9 different players with 1 shot. And I think it's big that Ryan Domowski did not have a shot in that first period because he's somebody that can score, get hot in a hurry. As we saw on March 19th of 2022 when he scored 5 goals and 1 assist in 1 game as Idaho defeated Utah 6-1 that night. And it's also big that A.J. White didn't get a shot in the first period because you talk about him being the leading scorer last year, Domowski coming in the final month of the regular year, and Domowski scoring 4 goals in the first 3 games for Idaho. Those guys having a quiet first period certainly was big. And one of the things I liked about the first period, great flow to it, great back-to-back action. There was only 1 penalty. Ryan Domowski got a hooking minor, 9:33 in. Utah's 0 for 1 on the power play. Idaho yet to be on the power play, and I think that shows good discipline by the Grizzlies staying out of the box.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the defense continues to be a trend for this club, Tyson. And I think as you were talking about all period long, I mean, you have a guy like Connor McDonald, the captain, number 5 for your Utah Grizzlies, making play after play. You're seeing forwards coming back, skating hard back defensively, able to intercept passes or tip passes that otherwise, are leading to odd man rushes, right? You're seeing a lot of emphasis put on the defensive end, and I think that's a hallmark of Ryan Kanasowicz hockey is you got to be a good 2-way forward on this team if you're going to be here. And I also think you look at a guy you mentioned in the pregame show, again, this might be 3 straight games where you pulled out the crystal ball and you said, Bryson Martin is going to be an important player tonight. And we talked about that in the pregame, and lo and behold, I think Bryson Martin has absolutely been an important player. Now, I don't want to exacerbate this point, but I want to show some of what's going on here at Idaho Central Arena. If you look at this group on the ice, right now there is a guy with an orange bucket just inside the blue line.
That's never a good thing in hockey when you see an orange guy in a bucket there on the ice.
No, they're patching the ice. And there is another guy in a black shirt out there who's got a thermometer, if you will. He's checking the temperature like a thermal gun that tells them what the temperature is. And what we were told before the game was that, yes, there are issues with the ice. There is a compressor issue. One of the compressors to keep the ice cold is malfunctioning, so they have not been able to address that. So they are repairing the ice in several different spots as the Zamboni goes around. It is not an ideal situation, but this happens in this league on a pretty rare occasion, I would say.
Well, rare here because this is normally one of the best ice surfaces in the league. Rapid City's got a great ice surface. Idaho's pretty good. And so this is, of the 5 years I've been watching, maybe even going back 6 or 7 years, it's the first time I've ever seen them have any sort of issues with the ice. And because of that, you got to make assertive decisions with the puck. And this is the type of thing where I think Tim Brandon back when he was coaching the Grizzlies, and I think Ryan Kanasowicz would say the same thing. If you got an ice surface like this that kind of resembles what you get in Tulsa or Wichita, you got to play a north-south game, utilize your speed. Not, you don't want to jackpot around with the puck. You got to just take it. You just got to take it to them. And I think that you started to see that as the period went on and the ice started to get a little bit softer. The Grizzlies and really the Steelheads for the most part too, tried to make sure that they were a little bit more decisive with their decision making, because they know that any soft pass isn't quite going to get to the player you're trying to get it to.
No, I would completely agree with that. By the way, a couple of shout-outs for you. Rowan Freeman, good to see you watching the show tonight. Appreciate you. Monty Cutler says, let's go, Grizz. Monty, good to see you. Ellie G says, let's go, boys. Cheering you on from good old Snow College, Tyson. So Snow College in the house tonight watching Utah Grizzlies hockey. A pleasure to have you all along. We are live in Boise, Idaho. First intermission. There is no score. The Utah Grizzlies, by the way, in that first period, 6 shots to Idaho's 9 shots. And I feel like there was a flurry of action for Idaho. Those weren't spread out. There were a couple of sequences where Idaho was able to keep that puck in and get extra opportunities. I think that's why they have a slight 3-shot lead on the Grizzlies. But I also don't think there's any doubt, Tyson, that the Utah Grizzlies had the better of the opportunities in that period.
Yeah, of the 6 shots, probably 3 or 4 of them are really good looks on Jake Kupski. Idaho had some good looks as well. There was a couple bouncing pucks that are a little bit tricky for Parikh, and he was able to handle them cleanly. And when there have been rebounds, they've been towards the perimeter. They've been towards the corner where you don't see that second opportunity. And so I think Lucas Parikh, outside of being really busy last night, 39 shots, comes back the next night, saw 9 shots and stopped them all. Now, if you joined us late, Trent Miner was recalled to the Colorado Eagles of the AHL. He's got an NHL entry-level deal. It's the second of a 3-year contract, and he got called up to the AHL earlier today. Garrett Metcalf is the backup tonight, and James Shearer is out with an injury. He might be out for a little bit. Kyle Pouncey taking his spot and doing a good job. And when we come back to the Siegfried and Jensen intermission report, we'll go over some scores from around the world of sports. We're scoreless here at Idaho Central Arena on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
With the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
First intermission, no score from Idaho Central Arena. Grizzlies and the Steelheads in the second of a 2-game series. Let's get to some other scores from around the league. Newfoundland defeated the Lions 3-1. Maine over Norfolk 6-1. Worcester defeats Adirondack 4-2. On the season, former Worcester broadcaster Keith Myers in his first season with the Idaho Steelheads, replacing Colin Sheffield with about 4 years. 14 minutes left in the third. Florida leads Jacksonville 2-0. Florida, the defending champs, won this season. Kalamazoo shuts out Toledo. Toledo was the Western Conference champions last season. They're 2-1 in the season. Kalamazoo gets their second victory of the year. Indeed over Reading 3-1. Greenville opened up a game on South Carolina 9-3. They had played a monster for Oklahoma Arena. That's on Greenville, and that was actually a place where the Sweet 16 league focus of the group was there and ended up winning that region. Watching the Elite the Duke was playing, I'm thinking, I bet you a place in Greenville. Really fun arena.
That's the end of the first period. It's all not enough at 0.
How about this? This is the first year of existence. 3-0, and they've got a 2-goal lead in the third. They could go 4-0 here to start their existence. Iowa leads 1 that game in the second intermission. Games in the Mountain Division. Wichita and Allen are tied at 1 through 2 periods. And halfway through the first, no score between Kansas City and Rapid City. In the NHL tonight, the Grizzlies NHL affiliate, the Colorado Avalanche, they currently lead the New York Islanders 3-2. That game with 13 minutes left in the third. Other NHL action, as of course I hit the wrong button here on my app. That happens every single time. Every single time.
You jinx yourself, right? You absolutely jinx yourself. By the way, while Tyson pulls up those scores again, if you do not follow the Utah Grizzlies on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, you should go and do that. We have posted first period highlights on the Utah Grizzlies Twitter feed. Just find them, Utah Grizzlies. Any social media platforms. You know, we're doing a great show called Inside the Grizzlies. It's a docuseries that takes you behind the scenes with the Utah Grizzlies. That's exclusively on the Utah Grizzlies YouTube channel. Make sure you find them anywhere you're on social. Just search the Utah Grizzlies. Now, Tyson Whiting has reloaded the scoreboard.
No, I went with a completely different app this time.
Ah, nice.
Carolina defeats Philadelphia 4-3 in overtime. Second intermission, Capitals lead the Predators 1-0. Rangers get a 6-3 victory over the Dallas Stars. Dallas is the NHL affiliate of the Idaho Steelheads. Florida defeats Ottawa 5-3. Tampa Bay defeats San Jose 4-3. Kings over the Maple Leafs 4-2. Red Wings over the Wild 2-1. Canadians beat the Blues 7-4. And in overtime, Buffalo defeats Chicago 4-3. Blackhawks are getting a little bit better, though, this year. They rebuilt, a little bit of in a rebuild phase, but it looks like they're in a better spot this year than they were last season.
Getting more pucks to the net, and much like this Utah Grizzlies team, 9 nights out of 10, the Chicago Blackhawks are going to be the better skating team on the ice.
Top 25 college football action. Third-ranked Tennessee leads Kentucky 37-6. That game late third quarter. How about this one for a close game? USC leads Arizona 31-23. USC a heavy favorite in that one. That game's in the late portion of the third quarter. In Boise, the Broncos lead Colorado State 49-10. That game played just down the road, so we're through three quarters there, and Boise State leads Colorado State 49-10. Early third quarter, Michigan leads Michigan State 16-7. Michigan's ranked 4th in the country. 15th ranked Ole Miss leads Texas A&M 17-14. That in the late third quarter. At the half, Pitt leads number 21 ranked North Carolina 17-14. Later on tonight, Stanford and UCLA, San Diego State and Fresno State. Earlier today, second ranked Ohio State defeats Penn State 44-31. How about this for the upset of the day? 22nd ranked Kansas State defeats Oklahoma State 48-0.
Unbelievable. Well, you know where that game was in Manhattan. At Kansas State, that's becoming a very difficult place to play. And you look at BYU, who, by the way, has lost 4 in a row and looks atrocious right now. But you look at BYU, Cincinnati, Central Florida, and Houston going into the Big 12. That league's only going to get better at football and basketball.
Number 1 ranked Georgia defeats Florida 42-20 in the contest formerly known as the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. 7th ranked TCU remains undefeated. They defeat West Virginia 41-31. How about TCU? They're 8-0 this season. Oregon defeats Cal 42-24. 10th ranked Wake Forest. Boy, they fell apart today. They lose to Louisville 48-21. Notre Dame, unranked, but they get a 41-24 victory over 16th ranked Syracuse.
Me and Nate Clerman.
That's right, Notre Dame products.
Nate Clerman went to Notre Dame. I never did, but I grew up in Chicago as a huge Notre Dame fan. So, Nate, I'm with you on that one.
Former Grizzlies Joe Wegworth and Jack Jenkins also went to Notre Dame. 17th ranked Illinois goes to 7-1 this season. They defeat Nebraska 26-9. 20th ranked Cincinnati loses to Central Florida 25-21. South Carolina ranked 25th. Well, that's no more. They lose to Missouri 23-10. Oklahoma over Iowa State 27-13, and Minnesota shuts out Rutgers 31-0. As we got about 3 minutes until the start of the second period, and I'm really curious to see who's going to get that first goal. It was scoreless after one last night, and Taryn Pfizer lit the lamp 1:36 into the second period. Is it going to be Pfizer? Is it going to be somebody else?
No, I got to think Ben Tardif's going to get one tonight. And our blue liners are due. I mean, I think they've played spectacularly well. I think the forwards are doing a great job. It wouldn't surprise me to see, that if you wind up with a guy like a Dakota Raby, who has just been running around here with his hair on fire. The kid is just so tough and so fast. I think you have a lot of candidates. I mean, Dylan Fitz does a great job parking himself in front of the net, Tyson. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Fitzy get that first goal. But who knows? A couple of shout-outs for you. Maddie Ivy says, let's go. Guy Morgan, Freeman, listening on the show. Good to see you, Guy. And I'm a fight. Apparently he's going to fight, but he says, go Grizz. So I'm a fight. Good to see you on the program tonight. A pleasure to be with you guys live from Idaho Central Arena. I mean, this is just one of the best rivalries in all of the ECHL. So it is always good to see as Lucas Perique will lead the Utah Grizzlies out onto the ice. Remember, again, in this second period, you're going to be furthest away from your bench. Got to stay out of the penalty box, which, by the way, the Grizzlies have done a great job of tonight. Stay out of the penalty box and be real thoughtful about your line changes, because in this second period, when you're furthest away from your bench, I mean, it is very easy to get caught out of position, and that's absolutely something that you don't want to do, is get caught out of position in the second period. So that's absolutely something you can watch. And again, I think this ice surface in Idaho is going to be a story for the rest of the game. You've got 2 periods to get through it. And I think if you're the Utah Grizzlies, Tyson, I agree with you. You just got to skate as fast as you can. You're a superior skating team. We saw that frustrated Idaho last night. I've got to believe that is frustrating them tonight, because we've seen it from Klerman. We've seen it certainly from Dakota Raby, Ben Tardif. These guys are skating circles around Idaho, and Idaho doesn't have an answer for that. And I think that's why you're seeing some of the frustration that happened midway through the second and into the third period last night. Let's see if that's the same case tonight, because I can guarantee you this. The Utah Grizzlies are not going to stop skating fast. They are an aggressive skating team. This team is built to be fast, as Tyson has always told you. And the line that's coming out now, I mean, when you look at a guy like, Sekos at center, you look at, Jamison is out there again with our guy Cam Wright. Like, that's an aggressive, young, fast forward line. And I think if you're the Idaho Steelheads, that's a lot for you to deal with. So I would absolutely keep an eye on that, Tyson.
The 5 that started the first period are out there to start the second period. Sekos will take the face-off. He's got Wright and Jamison out there. Bartley and McDonald, the 2 defensemen. Grizzlies have outscored the opposition 4-1 in the second period through 3 games this season. Utah will be skating from right to left as we see it from high atop in Idaho Central Arena, and you watch on Flow Sports and you listen on YouTube. Steelhead skating from left to right. Opening face-off won by Utah's Cam Wright. Skates down the middle, take a shot, and it glanced off the stick of Owen Hedrick and goes out of play. Grizzlies will get an offensive zone draw.
Great start already.
Well, 6 seconds into the second period.
Yeah, already. But seriously, that's great, because you're probably going to win this draw too. I think they've had a very good weekend. And I think, again, partner, you pointed this out last night. They've had a very good weekend on the dot, right? Keaton Jamison's going to line up to take this one.
Jamison against A.J. White in the near circle. Jake Kupski's in net. He stopped all 6 he saw in the first period. Idaho wins the draw. Owen Hedrick will flip it over the head of Misiak and Connor McDonald as it goes towards Perique, and Lucas will toss it towards neutral ice on the near side. Jamison gets hit by A.J. White as it goes to Bartley. He'll feed it across to McDonald. Connor ahead to Cameron Wright. Right to Sekos. Far side near the boards. He'll spin it around. Cut off by Kupski behind the net. He'll toss it back along the far wing boards. Idaho comes up with it. 2-on-2. They cross center ice. Now they'll gain the line to the left side. Back to Hedrick on the right. Oh, I tried to feed it out in front. Bartley got in the way. As Utah gathers it, McDonald ahead to Jamison. Back to Wright. He crosses center ice. Now he gains the blue line. He'll skate down the middle. Swung and missed. Sekos will take over. He's on the near side, near the boards. Gets it to the corner for Jamison. As Keaton avoids a check of Pelton Bice. Feeds it across to Wright. He'll take a tough angled shot. Hits the side of the net. Idaho will skate towards the corner as Register gets held up. He'll throw it towards the near side. Nate Klerman holding his ground against Jordan Kawaguchi. Puck rolls back towards the backboards for Hedrick. He wears number 7. He's got an AHL entry-level deal. He was captain in college last season. He'll get it out to center ice. Pfizer picks it off. Tardif back over to Pfizer. He avoids a check of Hedrick, but gets divorced from the puck. Register back at his goal line. We'll get it to the corner for Bice, who couldn't handle it. Pfizer over to Tardif, who swung and missed. Now it goes to Cutler. Left side, he's got plenty of room. He'll take a shot. Saved by Kupski. He holds on as Cutler tried to go low on him, maybe even 5-hole.
This ice, again, I don't mean to make too much of this, but we're sitting here, above the surface, and we have the angle where you can still see that this ice is very wet. We're a minute and a half into this third period, so what are we, probably 10 minutes since the ice has been zammed. And usually the ice is rock solid right now, and you can see there are still wet spots and not much snow out there, that's causing that puck to just stop. You expect it to keep going, but it's stopping.
Ice surface a little bit warmer here tonight. Brandon Cutler will take the face off. Pfizer and Tardif out there. Normally a great ice surface in Boise, but a little bit odd to see that here in the first weekend of home games for them. Idaho gets it. Jack Becker out to center ice over to Jade Miller. Gets around Nilsson. Miller gets held up but breaks free. Skates towards Miller. Take a shot. Save
boy.
as Andrew Nilsson tripped up Parikh. As Nilsson was battling with Miller. Miller got a shot off. Parikh made the save. And Nilsson ended up running into Parikh. Lucas tells the trainer, Colin Lee, save your trip, I'm okay.
He got flipped over. Andrew Nilsson was hustling back and then slipped, and head over heels went Lucas Parikh, and he hit the back of his head in his helmet. The helmet stayed on, hit the back of his head with the helmet on the ice, and I think shook him up for a minute, but Lucas looks okay. Well, that's always one of those scary situations for a netminder. When you get hit like that, the difficult thing is you're so exposed because you just can't, you have no control over the human being coming at you. And Andrew Nilsson's not the smallest guy in the world. That is big number 44, so good to see Lucas Parikh wave off the trainer.
Miller was able to get around Nilsson to create that scoring chance. Maybe the best one Idaho's had yet of their 9 shots. They didn't get listed with a shot. Idaho wins the draw. Shot is blocked by Tardif as it goes back to the Idaho line. Brandon Cutler enters onside. He'll skate towards the right side. Take a shot. Saved by Kupski, and he'll hold on as we get a quick whistle. Cutler with a couple really good looks here to start the second period. One from the left circle, and then 2 minutes into the second period just now from the right side.
Boy, Cody Heiskanen looks like a guy that's looking for a rumble tonight. And I think as you see this go on, and more opportunities are being denied for Idaho, and more opportunities are being presented to the Utah Grizzlies, I think you're seeing the frustration grow with Idaho.
Usually they're a team that scores a lot of goals, and goals have been tough to come by for both sides this weekend. Idaho wins the face-off. Walker gets cut off by Raby. Dakota tries to feed Fitz in the slot and couldn't reach it. Cudley gets held up, or he holds his face as if he were hit by a high stick, but no call. Grizzlies in the offensive zone. Martin over towards Raby. Raby in the left point, gets boxed out by Heiskanen. Penner takes over, spins it around the boards. Kupski has it bounce off his stick. Over to Jack Becker. Becker over in his corner. Will skate around his net. Now to Heiskanen. He's along the near wing boards. He'll feed it out to center ice. It bounces off a Miller stick. Miller had that good look there about a minute ago as Miller over in the corner. Kyle Pouncey boxing him out. Pouncey doing a good job. He's got good size at about 6'2". Up ahead. Now it goes to Dylan Fitz, who will get around a skater out at neutral ice. Fitz will dump it into the Steelhead zone. Not all the way, though, as Idaho back over towards Register as he's at his goal line. He feeds it across. The Grizzlies get a full line change. Pass up ahead, and the Grizzlies get a stick in the way, and that was Kyle Pouncey as Idaho was looking for a guy at the offensive blue line. And Monty, if Pouncey doesn't get a stick on that, that could have been a potential breakaway if the pass would have connected.
Yeah, it just continues to be a trend that we're seeing from the Utah Grizzlies, and that is they're getting sticks in the shot lanes and sticks in the passing lanes, and it is wreaking havoc on Idaho's ability to get momentum into the zone.
And this is the first game that Pouncey has played this year. He was a scratch the first 3 games, but he's looking outstanding tonight.
Excellent. Idaho
wins the faceoff. Register at center ice will whip it around the glass. It goes towards the far side. Now Jamison behind the Utah net stops. Tries to get it to McDonald. Picked off by Domowski. Domowski battling in the corner. He'll feed it over towards White. White behind the net. Now he skates towards the far side. He'll feed it up top for Kanadi. Now to Register. One-timer, and that one's blocked. That's blocked by Sekos. Goes back to Register. He'll get it across to Kanadi. He wears number 3. Not a very big guy. He'll get it over to Register. He'll get it to the right side circle. Domowski with a shot, and that gets blocked out in front. Utah comes back the other way. 3-on-3, they cross center ice. Right side, Grizzlies gain the line. Jamison avoids a check, but does fall down as Register behind his net with Cutler behind him. Register nudges it across to Kanadi. Now ahead to Spandenbergs. Now to A.J. White at center ice. Far side near the penalty box area. Brandon Cutler takes it away. He'll get it across to Nilsson. Andrew gets blasted by Spandenbergs in the corner. Nilsson gets it back in the right side. As he's still in his own zone, he'll carry it out to Ben Tardif. It glanced off him. No icing as Tardif gets around Register. He'll spin it along the near wing boards to Pfizer. Terran with a shot. Saved by Kupski in the butterfly position. His rebound goes to the corner. Pfizer, as there's a big-time hit in the corner, and Tardif was the one that delivered it. Tardif fires it towards the net, looking for Pfizer, and it glanced off Pfizer's stick onto Kupski, who makes an easy glove save.
Boy, I'll tell you, this speed now is starting to show up. I mean, Ben Tardif is just absolutely blew past. I think it was Kupski going into the zone. And, I mean, it's remarkable how much faster the Utah Grizzlies are. And you look at Kudla, who's trying to stay in front of Brandon Cutler, and he couldn't do that either. This speed is really starting to take a toll on Idaho.
I remember Idaho just has 15 skaters tonight.
Yes.
Only 5 defensemen are healthy enough to go. As Utah wins the draw, Martin to the left side gets it across to Pouncey. He'll get it to the corners. It rolls around the boards. Now it's behind the net as Cutler throws it up top for Martin. He'll fire it towards the net. It goes wide off the boards. Now to the far corner. Kawaguchi tries to clear it out, and Pouncey kept it in. As two Idaho Steelheads collide, Pouncey loses the puck, goes to Cutler. He's in the slot, but he gets back checked by Kawaguchi, and Idaho looking for it, clear it out. Cutler gets it to the left point, takes a shot. Glove saved by Kupski as Cutler was towards the end of his shift, but the Grizzlies get another offensive zone draw.
Yeah, 15-12 to go here in the second period. No score in what has been a very tight game. The Grizzlies now have the lead on the shot board, 10-9. Zekos, Walker, and Cam Strong on the ice, along with Martin and Kyle Pouncey for the Utah Grizzlies.
Grizzlies have 4 shots here in the second period. Idaho has yet to officially take one. Miller had that good look. I have no clue where the shot ended up, but it wasn't deemed a shot as Utah wins the draw, rolls it behind the net. Idaho gets it as the Steelheads skate from left to right. Justin Misiak couldn't handle it. Johnny Walker tries to dump it in, fanned on it, and Martin will dump it in himself as it rolls around the board. Sekos gets it to the right side. He's in the circle. Gets around to Skater, throws it up top for McDonald. Connor with a shot, and it goes wide as he was hoping for a redirection from Cam Strong. Now McDonald in the right point, gets it back to Walker, who looks to whip it around the boards. Didn't get much on it as it goes back towards the near side. Idaho gets it to Jack Becker. He'll feed it to center ice to Bartley. It hits off a Bartley stick. Now the Steelheads step over the blue line. They'll take a shot from the left side, and Preek makes the save.
Boy, again, you have the Utah Grizzlies playing behind the Idaho Steelheads net. I mean, and Idaho just cannot get out of the zone in the first 5.5 minutes of this period, Tyson, and I think it's because you're seeing that tenacity on the boards. Not only are the Grizzlies controlling the neutral zone, that space between the two blue lines, they're winning the battles along the boards. They're playing deep in the Idaho end, and it is, again, not to be redundant, but it is wreaking havoc on the Idaho Steelheads offense.
Draws in the right circle. You've had a good flow to this game as Utah wins the face-off. Bartley along the near boards. He flips it high into the air just below the scoreboard at center ice. Gloved by Register in his own zone. And Matt will toss it ahead as Svanenberg's fanned on the pass. It's at the center ice logo. Penner dumps it in towards Kupski. Kupski he'll just cover it up as Penner did a good job getting around to Steelheads defenseman. And that's that little thing of making him cover it up so then Kupski couldn't deliver it ahead, and the Grizzlies, as a result, get an offensive zone face-off.
I mean, and it just keeps going. And who are you going to bring back out here? You're going to bring Zekos back out here with Keaton Jamison to take this draw along with Cameron Wright, and you get Klerman and Nielsen. I mean, this is a very strong line, and it's because Penner made the right decision to throw that puck back in deep.
We're still scoreless, 14-15 left in the second. Drawing the Grizzlies' offensive zones won by Idaho. They get it out to center ice. Klerman back in his own end will bounce it off the far boards. Sekos in Steelheads territory dumps it in from neutral ice as Kupski behind his net. Goes back over towards Patrick Kudla. He'll feed it ahead. Now A.J. White at center ice, surrounded by 3 Grizzlies. He'll step over the offensive line. Now Domowski with a shot. On it goes wide. It kicked off a Preek as White was looking for a redirection. Utah has a pass picked off. Domowski to the left side. He'll take a lefty shot. Saved by Preek. And Lucas holds on. He's shown a good glove all weekend, and he has stopped all 11 he has seen. No score, 13:45 left in the second when we're back in 30 seconds on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Rio Tinto.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
13:45 left in the second period, no scores. We got a near sellout crowd, a couple empty seats mixed in here, but it looks like we got a pretty similar sized crowd to what we had last night.
You see any good costumes, by the way?
I saw somebody in a Stone Cold Steve Austin costume. There's a couple other costumes as well. Looks like a lot of people are dressed up as hockey fans. We even have a couple Grizzlies fans mixed in there behind the bench.
Although I will say, if you look around, there's quite a few more empty seats here tonight, but Boise State is in town.
Boise State blew out Colorado State tonight. Left side shot saved by Preek as Idaho around the net. We're still scoreless. Now Kawaguchi with a shot saved by Preek. Grizzlies get the rebound, and they'll try to carry it out of the zone as Klerman overskated the puck. Now the Grizzlies bouncing off the near glass and get it out to center. Kudla will backpedal into his own zone as the Steelheads spread the ice. Idaho up ahead to Keller. They'll enter from the left side. Keller near the far boards. Tries to whip it around but does softly. Pelton, Bice, and Klerman hold each other up along the end wall. Now Idaho tries to feed it out in front and hit the side of the net. Grizzlies come back the other way, 2-on-3. Fitz to the left side, steps over the line, centers it towards Cam Strong. Bouncing puck onto Kupski, who just covers up as Fitz was looking for Strong, but the bouncing puck was just tough for Cam to get anything on it, and Jake Kupski was just able to cover up.
Big time tenacity there. That was a couple of big saves, again by Lucas Perique on one end, and then a good counterattack by Fitzy there. Cam Strong just couldn't control the bouncing puck. And now with 13:03 to go, we're tied at 13 shots apiece, and I think that kind of tells the story of the game. This has been pretty even.
Very even battle. See if who breaks the deadlock really and takes advantage. Grizzlies roll it around the boards after winning the face-off. Now Idaho will lift it high into the air, and Victor Bartley in the Grizzlies zone running it down, and icing is called, and we'll come back down to the Steelhead zone for the face-off.
Boy, Zach Walker, number 55 for the Idaho Steelheads. He's that guy that always has that extra little shove. The whistle blows, but I'm going to give you a forearm.
He was thinking about it as he was chasing after
right?
Bartley.
That's what I was thinking.
To hold up.
And he's that guy. Big draw here. Brandon Cutler on the ice along with Tardif and Pfizer, Bartley and McDonald for the Grizzlies.
Everybody needs a Zach Walker type on their team. That glue guy. He was outstanding last year for the Steelheads. As Idaho has the puck deep in their own zone. As Owen Hedrick will bounce it off the near boards to Walker. He'll get it to Becker. Becker crosses center ice. He'll gain the line as he'll skate towards his left, being shadowed by Cutler. Becker near the boards, trying to get it up top for Hedrick, and the pass is wide of the mark as it goes towards Kupski. Kupski gets over to Hedrick, who skates around his own net as the Steelheads will bounce it off the boards. Connor McDonald gathers it. He's at his blue line. He'll backpedal into his own zone. He feeds it across to Bartley. Victor gets it ahead to Tardif. Left wing is step over the line. Now to Cutler. Cutler near the boards. Tried to kick it up top, and it glanced off of Jade Miller's skate. Now the Steelheads, Jack Becker being double teamed. Tardif took it away at neutral ice. Tardif at center ice near the Grizzlies bench. He'll throw it back to Bryson Martin. He'll feed it ahead to Pfizer on the right side. Bounced off his stick onto Register. Now Tardif, being triple team, gets it taken away from behind by Domowski. Domowski will get to the right side, get around Martin. Now Domowski gets it poked away. We haven't had a single penalty in the second period. Along the boards behind Utah's net, action is taking place as Idaho to the right side. Kudla. Slot, he'll feed it over to the left side. Kanadi with a shot, and that one gets deflected and flies out of play. Still no score, 11:33 left in the second.
Nice job by Zach Sekos there to block that shot. But again, you just look at how this period is playing out, and it is very much, hey, Idaho's going to get into the zone, and then they're not able to get that puck to the net cleanly. And here we go. Zekos is going to stay out there again. This is a pretty big draw on their own end for the Utah Grizzlies.
Utah has outshot Idaho 7-4 here in the second period. A.J. White take the face-off against Dylan Fitz. Second of 18 meetings between these clubs this year. Utah won last night. Idaho wins the face-off. Left side, Domowski with a shot, and that gets blocked in front of Preek. Puck's over to the far corner. Klerman gets it taken away as Idaho feeds it back up top. Domowski gets it towards Kawaguchi, and he's trying to find White out in front. Passes wide of the mark. By both teams just barely missing that centering feed out in front of the net. Sekos Crosses center ice, skates towards his right. He'll step over the offensive line, bounces off the boards. He's double teamed, tries to get it back over towards Cudler, who takes it away. Now A.J. White tried to dump it in, fanned on it. Nilsson in the area. Puck bouncing near the penalty box area. Utah gets it across the Penner, but it bounced off his skate and rolls towards the right corner. Nick Canati gets it behind the net for Cudler. He'll feed it to the far side. Now Idaho will throw a blue line to blue line pass. Bartley running after it. Looks like he's still got good speed at 34 years old as Keller pushes Bartley into Parikh.
Penalty.
Whistle blows as Parikh didn't like that too much. He kind of put a little bit of a push towards
It's going to be 2
Keller.
minutes.
And it looks like Colton Keller, number 34 for Idaho, gets 2 minutes for hooking. And the Grizzlies will be on the power play for the second time tonight.
And what was it? It wasn't your fastest skater if you're the Utah Grizzlies. It was Victor Bartley with maximum effort that put the Steelhead skater in a bad position, and then he was frustrated and shoved Bartley into Lucas Parikh. I mean, I don't mean to be redundant with you listening at home, but I just continue to say the speed and tenacity that the Utah Grizzlies are showing has them on the Powerade power play again, and I just keep saying it. You can only give up so many situations like this until the Grizzlies are going to make you pay for it.
10:37 left in the second period. Colton Keller and the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions, 2 minutes for hooking. Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions, so you can rest and relax. Call them up at 801-899-6064 and schedule a free consultation today. As the Steelheads win the face-off and throw it between the two defensemen up top, Pfizer and Nilsson, as it goes to Lucas Parikh as he'll get it to Pfizer. Pfizer behind the Utah net as the Grizzlies start the attack as Pfizer feeds it to the far side for Tardif. Blue line to blue line pass connects for Fitz. Fitz to the right side. He'll wrap it around the boards. Cutler along the near side. Tries to get it back to Fitz, and it just gets stopped in the corner by Idaho. Bouncing puck goes past Nilsson. Tardif in a foot race with Walker. Tardif gets there first, but Walker does display some good speed. Very deceptive speed as Tardif feeds it to center ice as the Grizzlies get in from the right. Pfizer skates towards a corner. He gets hit by Register. Fitz over there as well as is Cutler and three Steelheads battling in the right corner. Two Grizzlies surveying, and the puck's still in the corner. Puck squirts towards the right point. Nilsson gets it. He'll skate towards his left. Nilsson over to Tardif, who's got plenty of room. Back to Pfizer on the left side. Pfizer to Nilsson. One-timer, and it's blocked by Miller. Puck ends up in the left corner. Grizzlies get it up top for Nilsson. He'll feed it across to Cutler. He's on the right side, just outside the circle. Back over to Nilsson with the puck lifted over Nilsson's stick. Now out to Zach Walker. He gets it near the Steelheads bench. And Walker, he'll enter onside. Right side gets it over to Miller. Around him in the right corner as Idaho throws a screen, but Utah comes out with the puck. 37 seconds left in the Utah power play. Still no score. 9-11 and counting left in the second.
Well, you'd like to see Andrew Nilsson be a little better on the puck than that. That's twice a puck has bounced over as he waited for it. Be aggressive, be assertive on this ice surface.
Grizzlies have it at neutral ice. They'll bounce it off the boards. Idaho will throw it back in. Parikh behind his net. Grizzlies 2 for 20 on the power play right now as this season. As Bartley will get it to Jamison, neutral ice. They'll back it out into the Grizzlies zone. And boy, it looks like the puck is tough to handle here in this warm ice surface. Martin out to center ice for Cameron Wright. He'll skate down the middle. He'll step over the offensive line as the Steelheads are back at full strength as Wright gets it taken away from him. Up ahead to Keller. Right side bouncing puck. He gets it in the circle. Keller gets too close to Parikh and Lucas pokes it away. Up ahead the Grizzlies at neutral ice. Bartley at center. The net is dislodged, and that's why a whistle blew as Keller was looking for it on the right side, and by the time he had the puck, he was too close to Parikh, and Lucas just poked it away.
Yep, 8:21 to go in a dead even contest. No score. You're listening to Utah Grizzlies Hockey.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club.
.21 left in the second period. No score. Both teams with 13 shots. For the Grizzlies, 6 shots in the first. They've already exceeded that with 7 shots in the second. Brandon Cutler has 4 shots. Taron Pfizer 3. Cutler and Pfizer reached teammates in the WHL with the Victoria Royals for 3 seasons, so 7 of the 13 Utah shots are former Victoria Royals. Cutler with 4 and Pfizer with 3. For Idaho, Jordan Kawaguchi with 3 shots, Nick Canati with 2, and then the rest with just 1 shot for Idaho, and a very balanced shooting attack for the Steelheads here, who are playing with 15 skaters. Draws it neutral ice. Utah wins it, skating from right to left. McDonald rolls it around the boards. Kupski cuts it off behind his net as the Steelheads back in their own corner. As Heiskanen, Cody's his first name. He played at Cornell University. Up ahead to Keller. He'll get into Pelton Bice. He tries to center it from the right side. It kicked off a Grizzlies skate. Heiskanen back to Bice. He'll get to the high slot. Keller with a blast, and that gets blocked out in front by Pouncey, who's been active tonight. As Idaho falls down on the right side, no penalty. Now Idaho from the right point takes a shot, and that's blocked in front by Pouncey again. Out ahead to Cam Strong. Pouncey in the area. He delivers a hit as Domowski dumps it into his own zone. Great shift by Pouncey as he comes off the ice. Idaho feeds out to their bench area. Domowski gets it all the way across to the far side. Grizzlies nudge it ahead. Johnny Walker, 2-on-2. He's to the right side. Walker, toe drag, shot, saved by Kupski. Action in front. Idaho comes away with a rebound, but a good look by Johnny Walker as Keller gets it across to Bice. He'll throw a right wing pass to Domowski. Domowski on the right side outside the circle. Skates towards his left. Fires a nifty backhand pass out to the corner as he's at the end of his shift. Grizzlies get it across.
Wow.
Pass picked off. Idaho is skating. A.J. White makes a move on Preek. And Preek makes a save. What a stop by Lucas as A.J. was faking towards his left. Got it to his right. Tried to sneak it past Preek. But Lucas with the long legs just kicked his skate out. Somehow held on. And I think we got a penalty though. And it looks like it's going to be on Utah. 2 minutes for hooking as A.J. White anticipated the play perfectly as he was at his offensive blue line, picked off a pass, and that's the best chance Idaho's had tonight.
You just can never throw it across the middle of your own zone. When you're on defense in your own end, in your own zone, you can never just throw that puck across the middle. I mean, it just makes no sense. That's exactly what happened. And the Idaho Steelheads just had their best chance, but Lucas Parikh said no thanks.
2 minutes for hooking. Tardif's in the box. First power play for Idaho tonight. Draw one by Utah as it rolls towards Parikh. Lucas had to make sure he made a stop there. Now to the left circle. Idaho righty shot saved by Parikh, and that was taken by Jonas Vandenberg, who's got 2 assists through 3 games this season.
Well, Connor McDonald cleared that puck, but not out. Just enough time for the Grizzlies defense here to reset as Keaton Jamison will come on. Cameron Wright will hop off now. 1:52 left in the penalty kill for the Utah Grizzlies.
6:53 left in the second. Draws in the left circle, and it's won by Utah as Connor McDonald will clear it out.
Great job there. You want to clear that puck all the way behind your opponent's net on the penalty kill. But back comes Idaho.
Steelheads from left to right as Register will feed a left wing pass. Idaho will step over the offensive line. They get it back to Register, left point. He'll feed it across off the boards for White. A.J. skates towards the circle. Tries to feed it out in front to Kawaguchi, and the pass is wide. Steelheads still up with it as the fans take up a Let's Go Steelheads chant. Register over to Kawaguchi on the right side, back up top for Register. He fakes it, throws it to Kawaguchi. Kawaguchi skates towards the middle, will take a shot, and that one goes wide. As Idaho's Hedrick tries to get it back to Kawaguchi, Utah picks it off. Sekos at center ice will get around right as he's surrounded by 4 Steelheads. Sekos back to center ice. He's got good speed. Now he's surrounded by all 5 Steelheads. Makes a move on Spanenberg. Still take a shot. Saved by Kupski. And the whistle blew pretty quickly as Utah will have an offensive zone draws. As Sekos was about center ice, was surrounded by 5 Steelheads, got around 1 guy and was able to get a good chance from the circle.
Well, Tyson, I keep saying it, this Utah Grizzlies team is phenomenally talented with skates on their feet. They can really skate. And you can just see it wearing out Idaho with 58 seconds to go in the penalty kill now.
Idaho still on the power play, but Utah might have had the best chance there in the first minute of Idaho's man advantage. The Steelheads get it out to center ice. Pelton Bice with a left wing pass. Now Idaho's open. Left side centering pass. Shot and scores! Colton Keller got a nice pass from the left side. And that fish is going to get tossed in the ice as it does every game. And Idaho scores their first goal. Keller gets the goal, and it was a beautiful pass from the left side as the Steelheads get on the board. They take a 1-0 lead.
Well, Ryan Kanasowicz won't like the way that this play developed. Number one, the fact that it is a penalty And the other issue here is that the backside is wide open. Dakota Raby was a little late. And then by the time the entire Grizzlies team pretty much reacted, that left the back post wide open. Lucas Parikh had no chance, and now all of a sudden, for the first time this weekend, the Idaho Steelheads have a 1-0 lead, 5:45 to go in the middle frame, and this is going to be interesting now, Tyson, to see how the Grizzlies react.
Well, we've seen a lot of centering passes just miss just by that much. That one didn't miss. I wish I could see who that was that threw that pass. It wasn't Pelton Bice. I think it might have been Kawaguchi that centered it to Keller out in the front. It was a power play goal. First one this weekend by either side as Utah wins the draw, but Idaho's up 1-0. 5:40 and counting left in the second. As Idaho back deep in their own zone as it's in the corner. Jack Becker will feed it ahead to Zach Walker. Walker at neutral ice gets it poked away by Pouncey. What a game Kyle Pouncey has had. His first this season. Pouncey will back it out to Martin. He's still in the Grizzlies zone. Martin out to center ice. Pass picked off. Becker has to go past him as he was at center ice. Now Tardif on the left. As Tardif over to Cutler on the left side, outside the circle. He'll take a shot. Glove saved by Kupski. And he holds on as that's Brandon Cutler's 5th shot of the game.
Cutler and Pelton Bice will get the assists on the goal.
Might have been Cutler that threw that main pass.
I believe it was. That gives the Idaho Steelheads a 1-0 lead. 5:13 left in the second. This is Utah Grizzlies hockey.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
Idaho leads 1-0, 5:13 left in the second period. It's the second of a 6-game road trip, but remember the Grizzlies return to Maverick Center on Thursday. Make a note of it. Thursday, November 17th, as this same Idaho Steelheads team will be at Maverick Center. Don't forget the Grizzlies' annual Pooch on the Pond is going to be on Friday, November 18th. That's going to be the second of a 3-game series, and that series will conclude on Sunday, November 20th, and then the Trois Rivières Lions will be in for 3 games on Thanksgiving weekend.
Big shout out to Rob Gates watching Utah Grizzlies hockey tonight. Welcome to you, Rob. Rich Johnson, good to see you. Ellie G, Nadine Hallowell. Thanks for everybody for listening to the broadcast and watching us here in Idaho.
We're on Flow Sports for the video stream and YouTube for the audio stream here all season long as Idaho wins the draw in their own zone as they'll start the attack from left to right, leading 1-0. Steelheads dumping in. A.J. White over there as Parikh behind his net will feed it over to the left corner. Tough angled shot. Parikh makes a stick save. Grizzlies run as they cross center ice. Actually, they skate. Raby over to the right side in the corner. He gets it, looks to center it to Sekos. Idaho got a stick in the way, and the Steelheads poking out to center. Idaho runs after it. Boy, good speed displayed by Idaho. Kanadi, centering pass over to White, but it just didn't connect. Boy, Kanadi was there step for step with Dakota Raby to show you how fast he is. Sekos over the offensive line, gets to Bartley. It kicked off his skate as the pass was a little behind him. And it goes back over to Misiak as he gets back checked. Now A.J. White gathers it. So bounces it off the boards, gets around Bartley. White in the zone, doesn't have a ton of speed, but that's not his game. Over to Misiak as he'll skate towards his left. He'll take a shot that goes wide. Parikh might have gotten a piece of it. Fitz at neutral ice. He crosses center. Tried to dump it in. Pelton Bice picked it off right at the Idaho blue line. Kudla, who had an assist on the Idaho goal, gets it across to Register. Back off the end wall to Kudla. Now to Register is behind the Idaho net, and he'll feed it out to Keller, the goal scorer. Keller wearing number 34, a great glue guy who plays a two-way game for Idaho and very physical as well. Kudla, blue line to blue line pass. Idaho enters from the left side. Still had skate towards the goal line. They try to feed it out in front, and the pass goes wide. Utah gets it 1-on-2. They cross center ice. Cam Strong over to Jamison. He'll take a shot and didn't get much on a one-timer. Strong behind the net. I tried to get a little bit of a wrap around from the front side, and the pass ended up getting deflected as he was trying to find Jamison out in front. Still heads dumping in. Pelton Bice over to the corner. Idaho spins it over to Zach Walker. He's open on the right side. He'll take a shot, and it's blocked by Nilsson. Fitz ahead to neutralize for Tardif. Tardif feeds it out off the far boards. Grizzlies enter from the right side. Klerman gets it poked away by Kanadi. He'll get it to Walker. He'll get it to center ice. It's gloved by Jamison. Dropped, and Keaton will try to dump it in as it bounced off of Cody Heiskanen. Heiskanen skates towards his goal line now around the net. Big time hit delivered by Tardif on Heiskanen. And the puck ends up with Kyle Pouncey. Pouncey gets it poked away by Becker, who nudges ahead. Steelheads have numbers. Left side. They'll skate towards a circle. Idaho looking for a centering pass out in front. Shot to score. Wow. Jade Miller was on the left side. Fed it in front to Zach Walker. And just like that, it's a 2-0 Steelheads lead. And both goals have come in the transition game as they were able to get numbers. And looked like Miller's the one that skated to the bench first. Walker is out in front, stopped near Parikh, but it's possible that Miller was able to get it in off of Parikh or something like that. Either way, Idaho's up 2-0.
Well, and you wish Kyle Pouncey had just hit that puck back in deep. Oh, boy, that's a terrible deflection.
Did it bounce off of Parikh? It kind of looked like Walker was skating towards him. Parikh might have been paying attention to Walker.
Well, I think Bryson Martin slid in front of Lucas Parikh to block the shot, and it distracted him, and I think Zach Walker may have gotten the goal there.
Miller did skate to the bench first. We'll find out if it's Miller or Walker. Idaho leads 2-0. Steelheads cross center ice, and they'll wrap it around the board. Steelheads transition game has led to both goals. Raby over to Bartley as the Grizzlies in their own zone. His pass to McDonald is wide. Connor runs after it, and the captain nudges it ahead. It's at the center ice logo. Raby over to Bartley. Now back to McDonald in his own zone as McDonald will get it over to Bartley. Bartley in front of his own net. He'll get it to McDonald. As it looks like Jade Miller will get the goal. He played in all 72 games for South Carolina last year. As it goes over towards Cameron Wright. He's on the left side. Wright skates towards the slot. He'll take a shot. Glove saved by Kupski. He holds on to 11 left in the second. Idaho's up 2-0.
And all of a sudden, this period has just come apart on the Utah Grizzlies. What had been a very level contest. A couple of self-inflicted wounds have really come back to get the Utah Grizzlies here, and they've done so well just dumping that puck in and playing deep in the Idaho end. And all of a sudden, you don't do that, and it winds up in an odd man rush. And the puck's in the back of your net, you're down 2-0.
Miller with the goal, Becker with the assist, 17:08 into the second period. Idaho wins the face-off. They're skating from left to right. Still, quick in the transition game, but we got a whistle. And it looks like we got a penalty as there was a Grizzly that got knocked down as Idaho was skating out of their zone.
Nate Clerman.
The fans don't like it, but it looks like the Grizzlies going to be back in the power play, and it's Justin Misiak, the former Michigan Tech product, cousin of the former Grizzly Ryan Misiak. He goes to the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell.
Yep, and you're back on the power play here. And again, it's just hustle, and it is the ability of Nate Clerman to outskate a forward is what happened there. Nate Clerman, the Notre Dame product, is a fantastic skater on the blue line, a really good two-way defenseman. So now this becomes almost, you feel like it's almost a must-have opportunity on the power play.
Grizzlies looking for some momentum, getting back to the locker room for the second intermission. Utah wins the draw. Bartley over to right side. He'll take a shot. Glove saved by Kupski. Grizzlies had Jamison out in front looking for a redirection, but Kupski was able to catch it cleanly. Jamison gets pushed as he was trying to find a way to redirect one, and Idaho trying to protect their goalie.
Well, Matt Register again taking liberties up high on Keaton Jamison, and Jamo did a good job not responding. Gotta have a goal here.
Register's one of those guys, his goalie loves him every time because he's going to make sure he protects him. Idaho wins the draw, spins it around the boards. It hits off of Martin and goes to center ice. Bryson Martin will drop it off for Victor Bartley near the bench area. Bartley back over to Jamison. He'll skate towards his right. He crosses center ice, drops it off for Martin. He'll get it to Sekos near the offensive line. Sekos rolls it around. Register over in the corner. Sekos over there pokes it away. Now Sekos gets pushed along the glass by Register. It goes up top for Wright. He'll feed it across to Bartley. Victor has some room as he'll skate towards his left. Now to Wright. One-timer, and the shot goes wide off the glass. Martin kept it in the right point. He'll feed it to Sekos. He'll skate towards his far corner. Now to Jamison around the net. Back to Wright at the goal line. Over to Bartley on the left side, just outside the circle. Back to Wright. Right, over to Bartley. One-timer, saved by Kupski. Rebound. Oh, Kupski held on. Jamison was out in front. Now Matt Register's got him in a headlock, and Jamison wants to get after Register, but the linesman stepped in as there was a little bit of a second chance there. As Bartley had the shot in the high slot, there was a bounce off of Kupski's pads, but Kupski was able to dive on the puck right there before, and Register, protecting his goaltender, made sure that Keaton Jamison, and Register does have a size advantage on Jamison.
But with all due respect to Matt Register, why are you punching Keaton Jamison from behind? Why are you punching him twice on a penalty kill when he's not within 2 feet of your goaltender? It's just how the Idaho Steelheads have to play to stay in this game, and I think that's a perfect example of it.
Idaho's up 2-0, 1:05 left in the power play, 1:08 left in the second period. Brandon Cutler's kicked out of the face-off circle. Dylan Fitz will take the draw. He's got Pfizer to his left and Tardif to his right. Draw won by the Grizzlies. Nielsen will get it over to Cutler as Brandon over to the left circle, take a shot. Oh, hit the side of the net there. A little bit of pipe as Cutler was looking for the corner, but I think Kupski takes up a lot of the net at 6'4", 200. High slot, Nielsen over to the right side for Tardif. Ben feeds it over to Nielsen, lands off his stick and exits the zone. Cutler will back it out into his own zone. Now he'll get it to Tardif at center ice. Ben skates down the middle. He'll feed it over to the right for Tardif. Terran in the corner gathers it. He'll throw it up top for Tardif. Now to Nielsen, high slot. He'll get it over to the left side for Cutler. Cutler back up top for Nielsen. Nielsen back to Cutler. Cutler skates towards the corner. Now he's in the corner. He'll bounce it off the boards to Nielsen. Andrew, 20 seconds left in the period, over to Tardif. Back up top for Nielsen. He'll look to feed it out in front on kind of a wrist shot, and it glanced off a Pfizer stick and goes wide off of Kupski. Puck in the left corner. Idaho around the net. Now the Grizzlies trying to feed it out in front. Nobody's home. And that will do it for the Grizzlies power play. And that should do it for the second period. 4 seconds left as Idaho's out of the penalty box. And Tardif, with 2 seconds left, collides with Svanenbergs. And time runs out here in the second period, as it was an even game until Idaho got a power play goal on a nice centering feed to Colton Keller. Kudla and Pelton Bice with the assist. Time of goal 14-15 in, and less than 3 minutes later, Jade Miller made it a 2-0 contest. He was on the left side, looked to center it to Walker, but Miller does get the goal, with Jack Becker getting the assist as he threw the initial pass from his blue line ahead towards Miller. So it's 2-0 Steelheads. Utah has outshot Idaho 20-17. That means in the second period, the Grizzlies outshot the Steelheads 20-8. Or they tell you not to do math on the air. 14-8, the shots in the second period. We'll come back and recap the second period. You're listening to Utah Grizzlies Hockey, presented by Rio Tinto.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps.
With the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
Now we're through 40 minutes here at Idaho Central Arena. It was a pretty evenly played game for the first 34 minutes, but the Steelheads got on the board. The transition game really led to both of these Steelheads goals, as Idaho skated over towards the left side. Patrick Kudla threw a nice centering pass to Colton Keller, and Idaho was at neutral ice, was able to get some numbers and enter the zone with some momentum, and Kudla centered it to Keller, and Keller found the back of the net. He's been a guy that over the last year and a half has really given the Grizzlies all sorts of fits.
Yeah.
You think about Keller last season, 17 goals and 19 assists in 62 games, and he gets his fourth goal of the season. That's 4 goals in 4 games for Keller. Kudla and Pelton Bice with the assist. That was a power play goal. Idaho is 1 for 1 on the power play. The Grizzlies are 0 for 3 on the power play, and right now that's a big difference in this game. And then with about 3 minutes left in the second period, Jack Becker was at his blue line, nudged it ahead to Jade Miller, and Miller was on the left side. Zach Walker was cutting towards the net. Miller looked to fire a centering pass in, and the puck never did get to Walker, and it ended up in the back of the net. I think Lucas Preek was paying quite a bit of attention to Walker as Walker was looking to accept it, and somehow it ended up getting past Preek and into the back of the net. Lucas has played pretty well outside of those 2 goals as he has stopped 15 of 17. Jake Kupski, who's got really good size, 6'4", 200 pounds. He takes up a lot of the net, and he has stopped all 20 so far. Seemed like the Grizzlies, whether they go high on him or try to go 5-hole, it looks like it is pretty tough to find a way to score on him. And he has been tough on the Grizzlies in the past. And Jake Kupski with a good performance through 40 minutes. And really the transition game. It's Idaho, especially in this place. You know, you find a way to get numbers into the offensive zone, and especially on that second goal, Idaho was able to find that.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the entire game, it seemed like, especially first 2 periods, you're thinking about those centering passes not getting through. Grizzlies had some close calls. I know Idaho, during the first 30 minutes, had some close calls themselves. But Idaho was able to get a couple of those that gotten through, and that's really the difference in the game right now.
Yeah, and I think it's the little things. And, if you can't execute with detail, it's always going to come back to get you. And when you're talking about quality guys, the like of a Register, or you're looking at any of these guys on this Idaho team, they know how to score goals. This is a very, very good hockey team, as we're seeing over the last 2 nights. So you can't afford those little bobbles and mistakes, at the top of your own zone that wind up in counterattacks. And that's, I think, what we saw there, is Kyle Pouncey, got that puck caught in his feet. And instead of it going behind the Idaho net, it winds up in the Utah net. That's the biggest issue. So you really want to see a little more decisiveness, especially when the ice is a little choppy here in Boise tonight. You need that so that you don't take that risk. But I think, to your point, the transition game has been outstanding for Idaho. They haven't had a lot of opportunities. The opportunities they have had, probably 3 real quality opportunities. They had a shot blocked, and frankly, the 2 goals came off of the transition game. So, not a lot of opportunities, but too many, if we're being really honest. That, I think, is the difference in the game. But this game is not over by a long stretch. I think we know that this Grizzlies team can score goals, and I think we know that they are much faster than Idaho is. And I think if they can just get a little better, Tyson, and I don't know if that is a little bit more accuracy passing, if that's just making a little bit more of a decisive decision, I don't think the Grizzlies are far away from scoring here.
That's usually the case with a lot of teams that have a tough time scoring goals against a good goalie. Is really just, it comes down to either completing that centering pass, or it almost seems like in a game like this, once you get that first one, then you start to roll. But when you don't pick up that first one there in the first 2 periods, then all of a sudden the third period it presses a little bit. And I got to imagine Idaho, a smart coach team with Everett Sheen and 5 smart defensemen led by Matt Register, if we're going to see them pull back a little bit, make sure that under no circumstances did the Grizzlies get any odd man rushes, kind of hockey's version of a no doubles defense.
No, I think you're exactly right. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think, and why wouldn't you? You can't skate with the Grizzlies. They're significantly faster than you are. So if you're the Idaho Steelheads, yeah, I absolutely think you make sure that you're covering. You make sure that you've got at least one back, and it would not surprise me at all to see them play 4-on-5 offensively, because you're not going to take the risk. Because again, it's the same thing I said last night. A 1-goal lead in this game is not a lead at all. You're playing with your life at that point. You need to protect this 2-0 lead. You let the Grizzlies score in the first 5 to 7 minutes of this third period, and it absolutely opens the door for them to get back in. Couple of shout-outs tonight. What's up? Utah York says, let's go Grizz. Monty Cutler says, need to get bodies in front of the net with all the shots coming from the outside. Yeah, I think when you're taking a lot of shots from the top, and interesting, I think we've seen that tonight, that the Grizzlies have taken a lot of shots from the dots up. There haven't been a lot of opportunities in close, and I think that's something last night we saw goals scored on long extending passes. We haven't seen that out of Utah tonight. A nice adjustment by Idaho.
I don't know if Monty Cutler is related to Brandon Cutler, but Brandon has been assertive offensively. He's got 5 shots. He had a couple of really good looks from one from the left circle and one from the right there in the second period. Pfizer with 4 shots, Cameron Wright with 3, and then a few others with 1 shot for the Grizzlies. Let's get to some scores from around the league. Next week, the Grizzlies will face the Kansas City Mavericks in a 3-game set starting on Tuesday night over in Independence, Missouri. 6 minutes are left in the second period. Kansas City leads Rapid City 2-0. Looks like Mullen has picked up his second goal of the year for Kansas City, and Nick Passagov whose brother Michael Passagov is currently on the injured list for the Steelheads. Nick plays college hockey at the University of Michigan, and he now has 2 goals this season. Kansas City has outshot Rapid City 16-11. In overtime, looks like Allen gets a victory 2-1 as the Americans' Jack Combs gets the game winner 30 seconds into the extra session. Former Grizzly Chris Mallory with the assist, and Allen comes away with 2 standings points. Wichita gets 1 as Wichita falls to 1-1 this season, and Allen is now 2-1. Cincinnati with a big-time third period as they scored 4 unanswered, and they defeat Iowa 5-2 as the struggles continue for the Iowa defense. Former Grizzly Matt Berry, who's now playing for Cincinnati, he had a third period goal for the Cyclones in the victory. In overtime, the Savannah Ghost Pirates, they remain undefeated. They defeat Fort Wayne 6-5 in what had to have been an exciting hockey game. That game being played at Memorial Coliseum in Fort Wayne in front of a crowd of 6,907. Savannah gets the victory 6-5. Greenville over South Carolina 9-3. Indy over Reading 3-1. Kalamazoo shuts out the defending Western Conference champion Toledo Walleye by a 2-0 score. Florida over Jacksonville, that also a 2-0 score as Florida gets the shutout, and it's the former Grizzly Parker Gahagan that started for Jacksonville, and it looks like Cam Johnson for Florida got a 28-save shutout. Gahagan, the former Grizzly, stopped 24 of 26 in the loss as Gahagan last season was with Florida, and now he's with Jacksonville. Worcester over Adirondack 4-2. Maine over Norfolk 6-1. And Newfoundland over the Trois Rivières Lions 3-1. Remember, the Lions will be at Maverick Center on Thanksgiving weekend. And remember, you can catch every Grizzlies game and every league game. That's right. You can watch Kansas City, Rapid City. Once this one completes, and tomorrow and Monday, the Grizzlies won't be in action, but you can watch some league action on Flow Sports. You're home for ECHL hockey all season long. A couple Mountain Division teams playing on Sunday, Wichita and Allen. Make sure to get Flow Sports because it's definitely worth it with the subscription. You can watch every game and every team in this league, and you can scout the teams playing against the Grizzlies and have all sorts of fun with the different video feeds in the league. Idaho leads 2-0. We'll get to some scores around the world of sports here in just a moment as we'll take a quick timeout as it's the Siegfried and Jensen intermission report. Idaho leads 2-0 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Second intermission, Idaho leads 2-0, and they've been a pretty good team at holding leads. We'll see if the Grizzlies can find a way to bounce back. As the old cliche goes, it's got to take it one shift at a time and just keep pounding away, and we'll see what happens here in the third. Some NHL scores on this Saturday night. We'll see if the Avalanche can hold on to that lead as they had a 3-2 lead over the New York Islanders, and that game was late in the third. That one should be a final right now, and it looks like the Avalanche, they gave up 4 goals in the third period, and the Islanders come away with a 5-4 victory, and so the Islanders go to 5-4 this season. The defending champion Avalanche go to 4-4-1 on the young season. And of course, the second intermission, what do you know? Got the spinning wheel once again. Technology is such a great thing when it works, but then when it doesn't work, sometimes it can be a little bit rough. Hey, the spinning wheel disappeared. Rangers over the Stars 6-3. Florida over Ottawa 5-3. Kings defeat the Maple Leafs 4-2. Lightning over the Sharks 4-3 as the Lightning go to 5-4 this season. In overtime, Carolina defeats Philadelphia 4-3. And hopefully Hayden Hodgson's doing all right over there as he was with the Grizzlies 2 years ago. Hodgson not in the lineup for Philadelphia. He's kind of one of those guys on the bubble, but it is great to see Hayden Hodgson, who played for 6 different ECHL teams, make his NHL debut last year with Philadelphia. And I know he's one of those guys, might spend some time in the NHL, might spend a little bit of time in the AHL with Lehigh Valley. But, Philadelphia off to a decent start this season, but it's Florida that gets a 4-3 victory. Red Wings over the Wild 2-1 in a low-scoring affair. Montreal defeats St. Louis 7-4. In overtime, Buffalo over Chicago 4-3. And the Capitals get a 3-0 victory over the Nashville Predators.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the evolution of the organization, that is the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, it's really impressive to watch year after year as they continue, at least here in the near term, as they continue to add talent. And if you're just tuning into the broadcast tonight, Trent Miner called back up to the AHL affiliate of the Colorado Avalanche and your Utah Grizzlies. He is now a Colorado Eagle once more. And it's a true testament. You look at the way Lucas Perique is playing, obviously the local product Garrett Metcalf's on this team as well. And you're just seeing that there is a lot of talent and depth in this organization. And it's not surprising, because I think we're seeing a lot more ECHL guys get looks in the NHL now, because you're seeing a lot more organizations throughout hockey take that development process seriously, because honestly it saves them money, and it allows them to control the contracts of those prospects a lot more closely. So I'm not surprised to see more guys that played at this level getting looks in the NHL,
especially with the goalies, because you can only have so many goalies on a roster, and so usually you might have a guy that could be a backup in the AHL easily. You bring him to this level to get some game experience in, and really you hope that Trent Miner and Lucas Perique can find a way to get Garrett Metcalf really made a strong impression when he was in Calgary at AHL camp with the AHL team, the Calgary Wranglers, who just moved from Stockton, over the Stockton Heat, and now they're the Wranglers, and Metcalf, all the reports are that he was outstanding in that camp, and the Houston will, these guys are going to keep an eye out for early in their season if they're going to go. Utah, this is their fourth game of the season. They've got 8 goals total. Taryn Fizer has 4. Zach Sekos with 2, as he scored a goal in each of the first 2 games of this season. Dakota Raby scored in the season opener, which was a 5-3 loss against Rapid City, and Cameron Wright with the empty netter last night to give Utah a 2-0 lead. And that goal turned out to be the game winner, as Idaho scored with 13 seconds left in regulation. And you can almost tell, like with a lot of teams early in the season, you got a condensed training camp of just 2 weeks. You're looking for that chemistry, and it looks like offensively, we don't really mention last year too much, because it's just that it's last year. But I think a lot of Grizzlies fans are thinking about Dastu, who's currently in Finland right now, and he led the team in scoring, in goals at least, with the 26. Who's going to pick up that slack? Well, early in the season, it's been Fizer, it's been a bit of Sekos, and I got a feeling Cameron Wright, once he makes that adjustment to the pro game, and he mentioned it during the pregame report, how he is right now making that adjustment and learning the pro game on the fly. I got a feeling once he gets adjusted, he'll score goals in bunches. And so even though the Grizzlies, through 11 periods of play, just have the 8 goals, I got a feeling that could end up breaking through, whether it's tonight or whether it's in the series against Kansas City. As the Mavericks have been a team that have struggled a little bit defensively over the years.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely coming, and I think you're right about Cam Wright. I mean, his spirit is amazing, and I think having Brandon Cutler back on the ice absolutely is going to help. I think offensively, I agree. You got to find more goals, but I also think defensively, this blue line group has been spectacular this year. As we get ready to go here in the third period, Utah Grizzlies hockey presented by Rio Tinto. Good to have Rio Tinto on board for the 2022-2023 season of Utah Grizzlies hockey. 2-0. Idaho scored 2 second-period goals on the break. Can the Utah Grizzlies answer that? Can they get 2 more? Maybe they get 3 to win the game. Stranger things have happened. With all of your third-period action live in Boise, Idaho, the voice of the Utah Grizzlies, Tyson Whiting.
Looks like Ryan Kanasowicz has switched up his line to start the third period, as he's got Taran Pfizer out there along with Zach Sekos and Dakota Raby.
Love that.
That line's got a lot of speed, but it looks like Kanasowicz has switched things up a little bit here to start the third period with his forward lines. We'll keep an eye on that as the third period progresses, as Utah wins the face-off. Grizz skating from left to right, as we see it from high atop at Idaho Central Arena. And your mind's eye see it on YouTube as McDonald back at his blue line, gets it to Pfizer. Taran will ski towards his left in his own zone. He'll feed it over to Raby. Now Matt back to McDonald. Connor over to the right side for Sekos, back to McDonald. So get it to the left side. Bartley dumps it in. Idaho runs after it. Register over with Raby. Register strong with the puck. He'll spin it along the right side. McDonald literally kicks it to the slot. Idaho up with it. Register handles the puck so well, and he's got that extremely long stick. He'll get it over to Misiak, who dumps it in. Preek behind his net will get it over to McDonald. Connor across to Bartley. He'll feed it back to McDonald. Now ahead to Tardif, who crosses center ice. Now skates down the middle. Step over the offensive line. Veer off to the left. Tardif tries to feed it out in front, and the pass didn't connect. As Tardif over to Nielsen. And so bounce it into the right corner. Kudla's up with it. He's got an assist tonight as Idaho gets it to Colton Keller, who picked up a second period goal. He had 17 last year, 4 already this year. Now Pelton Bice drops out for Kudla, gets around a skater, shot save, rebound, shot, and a score. As Pelton Bice fed it out in front to Ryan Domowski, and he has made it a 3-0 game as Domowski gets his 5th goal of the season, and the fans are fired up here and standing at Idaho Central Arena. Grizzlies were hoping for some momentum heading into the third, but it's Idaho that gets an early third period goal. They lead 3-0.
Yeah, and again, it's backside protection for the Utah Grizzlies. Lucas Parikh makes the original save, but then the back door is left wide open. Got to be assignment sound, and everybody on this club has a job to do. We talk about it all the time. If you're not going to do your job, things like that are going to happen. And it seems like at times the Grizzlies have become frenetic in their own zone. They've lost that poise. It'll be interesting to see how they answer the bell here. Now trailing 3-0 in Idaho.
Utah wins the face-off. Penrose out there along with Jamison and Cam Strong as Bryson Martin gets it over to Jamison. Jamison feeds to the right circle, but it glides all the way to Kupski. And the Idaho goaltender covers up as Cam Strong chased after Kupski to make sure that the whistle blew. And Utah gets an offensive zone draw.
Good job getting a face-off there. Pouncey and Bryson Martin are on the blue line right now. Keaton Jamison, Tyler Penner, and Cam Strong up front. This is a big moment in time for the Utah Grizzlies.
Draw on the right circle is taken by Utah as Pouncey, who's had a good game tonight, feeds it over to Strong. Right side shot and kick saved by Kupski as there was some action out in front of him. As behind the net, Pelton Bice takes it away. He's had a good game tonight. I think he's got 2 assists. As it goes out to center ice. Martin feeds out to center ice. Penner dumps it in. As Kupski to the side of his net will toss it to the far side. Now ahead to Domowski. He'll get it to center ice. Steelheads dumping in as Bryson Martin collides with Keller. As Pouncey around the net. He gets it taken away by Pelton Bice. Over to Keller. Right side shot goes high off the glass. Rolls around the boards. Kudla has a bounce over his stick. He'll have to retreat at his blue line. They'll feed a blue line pass to Pelton Bice. Linesman says it didn't hit Bice's stick, and so icing is on Idaho.
Gotta be very basic. There's no reason to try and get complicated or try to do too much here. Just do your job and be basic. As this draw will be to the right of the Idaho net. Zach Sekos is on the ice to take it for the Grizzlies.
Dakota Raby is to his right. Raby's got 1 goal so far this season. It's won by Idaho as Owen Hedrick over to the far side, nudges ahead to Walker, picked off by Raby. He loses it at the offensive blue line. Now the Steelheads throw it to center ice, taken away by McDonald. They'll get it to Sekos, who's back in his own end. Sekos stops in front of Parikh, and he'll give it to McDonald as Connor will feed it to Bartley. Bartley exits his zone and nudge it ahead to Sekos, who'll tap it in. As it goes towards Cody Haskinen, he gets around his net. Over to Becker along the near boards. Walker, left wing pass as Idaho gets hit pretty hard. That was Jade Miller. McDonald delivered a hit. They'll feed it from corner to Bartley. Bartley fanned on a pass attempt out to the right side. Miller bounced off the boards on a sending pass. Shot. Saved by Parikh. That was taken by Walker. Now left side register with a shot and saved by Parikh as he went low to stop that one. Rebound goes out to the near boards. Pfizer being hacked away by Becker. Becker trying to get the puck from him. Walker joins as he gets pinned by McDonald. Now it squirts out to the point. Register feeds it back around to the corner. McDonald behind the net gets it. He'll spin it past Pfizer and goes all the way deep into the Steelhead zone, and it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies with 16:44 left here in the third.
That looked like it hit Walker's skate for Idaho as he was going to make a line change. In fact, I'm pretty sure that bounced right off his skate blade, but still called an icing. So another big draw here, directly to the right of Lucas Parikh. 3-0 Idaho, 16:44 left in the game.
White takes the draw against Sekos, and it's won by Idaho. As around the nets, Kawaguchi gets pushed by McDonald but keeps the puck. Kawaguchi gets over to White, and he couldn't get on a backhand as now Pfizer crosses center ice and whips it around the boards. Raby has to go past him, and it goes all the way along the far boards. It glides all the way back behind Lucas Parikh's net as Nilsson gets it. And now Dylan Fitz. He battles in the corner with White. Fitz, the former Orlando Solar Bear, lifts it high into the air and bounces out of play. 16-16 left in the third. Faceoff comes back to the Grizzlies zone.
Yeah, good job getting it out. Wound up, unfortunately, in the Utah Grizzlies bench. So now Fitzy will be out there to try and win this draw. And it looks like White's going to take it for Idaho.
Second of an 8-game road trip. Grizzlies return home against Idaho Thursday, November 17th. Second of 18 meetings between these clubs this year as Klerman skates around the net as Utah won the faceoff. Tardif ahead towards Cutler. And, it looked like it bounced off of Cutler's stick, but icing is going to be the call. And Cutler's going to tell the linesman that, hey, it hit my stick. You can almost hear the pass hit Cutler's stick, but the linesman called it icing.
It's that close, Tyson. I mean, it's millimeters that we're talking about in this game. It's a very difficult game to officiate. I'm not even saying he's wrong there. It's just, I mean, when you're in that space, I mean, that's almost an impossible call to make.
As the draw won by the Steelheads, Keller will drop it off for Cudlow, left point. He looks for a redirection and bounced off a Domowski stick. Grizzlies clear it out to center. Keller runs it down in the Steelhead zone as he'll feed it ahead. I think Colton Keller was the Steelheads Unsung Hero Award winner last year as Idaho tried to dump it in, didn't get all the way to the corner. Now it's in the corner with Nielsen in his own zone. Nielsen gets it poked away but keeps it as he'll feed it towards Kanadi. He kept it in somehow. Over to the right side. Idaho with a shot that goes wide. Now Kanadi, he fires towards the net. On it goes wide as he was looking for Domowski to redirect it. Grizzlies. Ben Tardif, his play starting to get physical here in the third with Idaho up by a 3-0 score. Tardif feeds it to center ice for Fitz, who dumps it in, but it's gloved by Register. He'll feed it ahead to Pelton Bice. It bounced off his stick. No icing, says the linesman. Still has to make a line change, so did the Grizzlies. Martin crosses center ice and dumps it into the right corner as it bounces off the glass. Glass plays a little bit well here, even though the ice surface has been a little bit choppy, but it's a little bit warmer in the building. Rolls around to Johnny Walker, and he'll feed it to the left point for Martin, but he glanced off his stick. Idaho runs it down, right circle. Still at skate towards the circle. Good play by Kyle Pouncey. Idaho tries to feed it out in front. Passes behind the mark. Walker at center ice dumps it in as he tries to get around Register, but it's tough to do with his size. As Idaho gets it out to the far side. 14:40 and counting left in the third. Idaho's up 3-0. Steelheads get it over as they tap it in. Justin Misiak comes off the ice. As the Grizzlies over in their own corner, Tyler Penner ahead to Jamison. Keaton being defended by Svanenberg. Svanenberg knocks him down. He'll throw it to the left circle. Now Svanenberg takes it away from Penner. Svanenberg will roll it around the far wing boards. Goes to Haskinen. He'll get it across to Kudla. Kudla back up top, and he was looking for Svanenberg's pass too hot to handle. Pfizer throws it to center ice. Idaho regathers it as the Steelheads want to possess the puck here and just slow the game down and watch the time run out. Kawaguchi skates towards the right corner, throws to the right side. Shot saved by Parikh. Rebound shot saved by Parikh. And the puck ends up in the near side, still in play. Sekos over to Bartley at center ice. He'll feed it to the left. Grizzlies get over to Sekos. They'll fire a shot. I got redirected about halfway to Kupski. Along the near boards, Tardif. Now Pfizer with a shot. Kupski makes the save there. Rebound goes behind the net, and Bartley, I tried to center it, and is picked off by White. A.J. White, not much speed. He crosses center ice. White looks to center it to Kawaguchi. Kawaguchi tries to get it back to White, and Connor McDonald picked it off. The captain will toss it to center ice. Keller picks it off. As you can tell, Idaho going in a little bit of a shell. Defenseman back a little ways as Kanadi crosses center ice. Gets it poked away by Tardif, but Kanadi gets it back. Splits a double team centering pass while Keller couldn't get it as he was out in front trying to get the pass from Kanadi. And the puck ends up with Keller behind the net being double teamed. Kanadi joins in. Kanadi's had a good game tonight. Keller battling one-on-one, and McDonald wins that battle. He'll get it to Pfizer as Pfizer gets dumped by Walker. Kind of an awkward hit. Hopefully Pfizer gets back up. As looks like Pfizer lost his mouthpiece. He now puts it back in as McDonald up ahead to Cutler. Cutler pass connects. He skates over to the left side, take a shot. Saved by Kupski.
Hit the post.
Register was in the area trying to make sure Cutler was defended well. Walker gets it poked away. Cutler at neutral ice. Crosses center. Cutler gains the line. Right side. Tries to get it to Cameron Wright. It's poked away by Walker. As it rolls towards the near side, Idaho gets it back to the far side. Idaho up ahead. Pass picked off by Clermont at center. And Idaho tries to center it at the Grizzlies' blue line. Nilsson picks it off. Nilsson throws it back deeper in his own zone. Clermont near the corner chases after it. Nate gets it. He'll skate towards his right. Clermont crosses center ice, defended by Becker. Clermont gets around a skater. Right side, he's near the boards. Clermont in the offensive zone, spins it back around. Wright couldn't reach it. Martin gets it back to Wright on the left side. Wright, I tried to feed it out in front towards the circle. Idaho clears it back to center ice. Grizzlies have to tag back up. Tardif gets it taken away. Becker with a right wing pass. Domowski to the right circle. Will take a shot. Saved by Parikh.
Boy, the Utah Grizzlies have really slowed down here. Not being decisive, really taking a lot of risks with the pucks. And Idaho's made them pay. It's 3-0. The Idaho Steelheads lead your Utah Grizzlies. 11:42 to go in the third. This is Utah Grizzlies hockey.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
11:38 left in the third period. Utah wins the faceoff. Johnny Walker at center ice, right wing dumps it in, bounces off the backboards. As Register battling with Keaton Jamison in the corner. Idaho leads 3-0. Steelheads have outshot the Grizzlies 23-21. Utah on the right side. Jamison gets blasted. Register skates over there. He'll nudge it ahead. Idaho with 15 skaters tonight as they're a bit short-handed. Register dumps it in, hits off a Pregame stick as it glances off the glass, goes to the right side. Becker feeds it up top as Hedrick being defended by Penner. Hedrick knocks down Penner, no call. As Raby up ahead to Fitz. Pfizer. Pfizer skates in, take a shot. Saved by Kupski. As Raby nudged it ahead to Pfizer. Pfizer had Register kind of back-checking him. Yeah. Pfizer couldn't really take his time and just got off the shot he could, and Kupski's been outstanding tonight, stopping all 22 he's faced.
Well, and I think one of the things you're seeing here is Dakota Raby really, I thought, did a very nice job trailing the play here. First of all, makes a nice pass up to Taryn Pfizer. Save is made, and then Raby skates through. I don't see any issue with what Raby did, and the Idaho Steelheads can be upset about that. And I think Dakota Raby did an excellent job getting to the front of the net. He's out there with Taryn Pfizer, Zach Sekos up front, Connor McDonald, and Victor Bartley on the blue line.
Nothing wrong with Idaho protecting their goaltender because Utah is going to do the same with their guy. As the draw won by Idaho, they're in their own zone. Is out bouncing off the far glass. Connor McDonald retreats back towards his zone. He'll feed a pass towards the Steelheads bench. As Utah, Secco's battling with A.J. White. Pfizer steps over the line. Idaho couldn't clear it out. Raby throws to the right corner. Raby gets spun around as Pfizer gets pushed into the corner. Pfizer keeps his feet. He skates towards the point, wraps it around. Raby gets around a skater. Now it's to the left corner. Steelheads feed it back to the right side. Pfizer over to Raby as the fans take up a Let's Go Steelheads chant. Sekos gets pinned along the boards by Svanenbergs. Svanenbergs with the puck. Sekos pokes it back to the corner. Raby avoids a check of Kanati, trying to get it to Sekos. And glanced off his stick. Idaho clears it out to center. McDonald stands in front of White, skating in front of him, so White couldn't get after Victor Bartley. Now ahead to McDonald. He'll feed it to Tardif on the left side. Tardif skates towards his right. He crosses center ice down the middle. Now he veers off to the right, gets to the circle, stops near the boards. As Tardif skates towards his left, he gets double-teamed. Idaho poked it away, and it goes into the Grizzlies zone. Lucas Preek skates towards the corner. He'll feed it ahead to center ice. It bounces over the stick of Domowski and taken by Patrick Kudla, who's got 2 assists tonight. Kudla around the boards. Domowski, who's got a goal tonight, 5 on the season. He's going to be outstanding if he's in a Steelhead uniform all year. Probably could score 30+. Tardif over to Nielsen. As he looked for a pass, Idaho picked it off. Slot shot, Domowski fanned on it, and he gets tripped up by Clermont, no call. Officials letting him play in the third period as they got dinner reservations. As Clermont to the left side, I wish I had dinner reservations. I'm just getting on a bus after the game. Kudla back in his own zone. He's played a good game as he'll skate along center ice. I tried to find Pelton Bice, but he couldn't handle it. Now Nilsson along the near boards, gets it ahead to Cutler. Brandon skates in from the left side. I tried to find right, but that didn't connect. Idaho comes back the other way. They got a 3-on-2. Still heads over to the slot. Righty shot to score, and that's Jack Becker going top shelf. And this baby's in the refrigerators. The Steelheads have taken a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, again, you just have to ask yourself, what kind of decisions are you going to make here? You're down 4-0 now, and there's, you know, when you play with the puck, and you turn the puck over, the puck doesn't get in deep, and I know I keep saying that, but in this third period, the Grizzlies just are not getting that puck consistently in deep. And again, Idaho is making them pay on a 3-on-2.
Becker had 2 goals in 11 games last season for Idaho, and that's his first goal of the season. He had 8 goals last season for Arizona State. Before that, had about 6 to 9 goals every year for Michigan. As Idaho gains the line right side, looking for a centering pass, it doesn't connect. As the Steelheads are up 4-0, and they're continuing to buzz. Walker crosses center ice, and Johnny gains the line. He was a teammate of Jack Becker's at Arizona State last year. Around to Martin, over to the near goal line. Jamison around the net with Heiskanen trailing him, and Jamison bounces off the boards. Jamison still with the puck, trying to get around Heiskanen. He's now in the corner. As Jamison over in the corner, he feeds it up top to Pouncey. Bounced off his stick, but he was able to keep it in. Now to Jamison, skates towards his right. He'll take a shot on it. Got redirected out in front. Kupski kind of was trying to block that one awkwardly. Idaho flips it high in the air. Bouncing puck at center ice. Martin with the trip up. Walker wanted to call, none to be had. White dumps it in. Pouncey around the net. Gets over to Bryson Martin. Martin feeds it ahead to Sekos. Sekos across to Pouncey. Kyle crosses center ice. It's his first game of the season. He'll dump it into the near corner. Register did get an assist on the Becker goal as he'll nudge it ahead to Kawaguchi. Pass to A.J. White is picked off by Pfizer, but Pfizer loses it to Register. Now to Misiak. He'll fire a shot from the blue line onto Parikh, and Lucas will just nudge it to the corner on the near side. Register keeps it in. Left point, he feeds it across to Hedrick. He'll get it around to Kawaguchi behind the net. Jordan's his first name. He wears number 77. As Kawaguchi being shadowed by Victor Bartley. And Sekos over there, along with Misiak. Kawaguchi tosses towards the point, but Dakota Raby's there for Utah. Raby crosses center ice 2-on-3. He gets hit before he was able to dump it in deep. As the Steelheads get it out to center ice. 7 minutes left in the third. Idaho's up 4-0. Steelheads dumping in. Preet behind his net. He'll give way to Nilsson. Ahead to Penner. Bounced off his stick. But it looks like it's no icing on the play, as Penner did bounce it in from Grizzlies territory. As Idaho comes up with it. They flip it high into the air. It bounces at center ice. Nielsen back in his own zone will feed it across to Klerman. It bounced off a Klerman stick, goes to the corner. Klerman ahead to Penner. He'll feed it ahead up to Pfizer, but Kanadi with good speed is able to get an icing call as the Grizzlies were looking for Pfizer to win that foot race, but it's icing on Utah with 6:33 left in the third.
Well, it's amazing how quickly the game of hockey can get away from you, and you see good old home cooking in the Idaho Steelheads paying off here. 4-0 Idaho so quickly. And it's just those little decisions we always talk about, a bounce here, a decision there, a turnover.
Draws in the left circle as action has been in the Grizzlies zone for quite a while here in the third period as Idaho protecting the lead. Seems like a lot of teams, and they've got a lead after two. They do a pretty good job of securing it. I know the Grizzlies last year were 29-1 when leading after two. Idaho had a pretty good record themselves. Utah wins the draws. Fitz gets it out to center ice, feeds it to Wright. Wright gets around Kanadi. He'll skate in. He'll take a shot, and somehow it didn't go in. Now left side, Nielsen with a shot. That gets blocked as Idaho had a man cutting in front of him. Now left side, Grizzlies with a shot, and that goes wide. Nielsen was battling with Kanadi. It's going to be a high stick as Kanadi cut in front of Nielsen as he was trying to take the shot. And it looks like it's going to be on Andrew. Yeah, it's going to be on Nielsen. He'll go to the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. Timeout on the ice, 6:16 left in the third. We're back after this on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
It's the Steelheads 4 and the Grizzlies nothing. 6:16 left in the third period. Idaho's a dangerous offensive team. They only scored one goal last night. They picked up 4 here so far, an inadvertent horn as play was getting started, and the horn went off. 6:14 left in the third.
I'm sorry, did you say an inadvertent horn?
Yeah, the horn sounded when the puck was in play like that. The music was still playing. The referee goes to the scores table. Idaho scored 2 goals in the second. Colton Keller, 14-15 in. Jade Miller made it a 2-0 game, 17:06 in. Ryan Domowski made it a 3-0 game, 1:07 into the third. And Jack Becker made it 4-0. He scored 11:06 into the third. Patrick Kubla and Ty Pelton-Weiss, each with 2 assists. Becker and Keller, each with 1 goal and 1 assist. Taryn Pfizer and Brandon Cutler, the 2 Victoria Royals, are tied for the Grizzlies' lead with 5 shots. Idaho's on the power play as Nielsen's in the box as Register fakes a shot, gets it over to the right side. Kawaguchi back to Register, now to Hedrick, now to Register. One-timer, that one goes wide. It had a lot of steam to it. Hedrick gets it. Left side up top for Register as he'll fire a wrist shot. Got redirected by a stick and on to Parikh, who makes an impressive save. As Idaho was looking for that redirection, they got it, and Lucas was able to glove it.
Yep, Klerman and Martin will come on here. Change on the D-line. Bartley and Connor McDonald will head off.
For Idaho, they like getting this work on the power play without really much at stake, because obviously they're probably gonna, barring a miracle, it looks like they're gonna pick up their 3rd win of the season. The bread and butter on their power plays, Register out in front and a couple guys redirecting it to the side. And watch out for Hedrick as Utah wins the faceoff. Kawaguchi can be dangerous as well, as Bryson Martin will carry it out to neutral ice and they'll eventually dump it in. Register being chased by Jamison. Grizzlies going to be aggressive on this penalty kill, trying to see if they can get one on Jake Kupski, who's got a shutout so far of 22 saves. Kawaguchi around the nets, now in the right corner. Martin ahead, and it rolls back to Martin. He'll gather it. Bryson will bounce it off the far glass, and it goes past Matt Register deep in the Steelhead zone. Grizzlies will get a full line change in. 1 minute left in the Steelheads power play. A couple of the fans have headed for the exits, knowing that the outcome might not be in doubt anymore. As Idaho's Colton Keller will dump it off the backboard. McDonald around the boards. Hedrick was able to keep it into the left point with good hands. Register over to Kawaguchi. He gets hit by Bartley. Kawaguchi on two knees tried to center it. It rolls towards the right point. Now Hedrick on the left side gets it over to Register. As Matt gets it to Kawaguchi, right side's got plenty of room. I tried to feed it out in front. That was actually Bice trying to get it to Kawaguchi. Now Kawaguchi gets hit by McDonald. Utah will spin it along the near glass, and it goes past Hedrick deep in the Steelhead zone.
Nice job getting that puck out for a line change now.
20 seconds left in the Steelheads power play. Idaho's outshot Utah 25-22. As Idaho patiently behind their net as they prepare for life after the power play. As Idaho skates to neutral ice, they'll feed it to the right wing. They'll dump it in off the stick of Jack Becker, who scored a goal tonight, his first of the season. Utah clears it out. Nilsson stands up in the penalty box. Now he's out of the box as he carries on a conversation with a fan in the second row. Nilsson will skate towards the bench as Idaho to neutral ice. We'll drop it back off for Kudla. He'll cross center and dump it in, but not all the way. It bounced off the glove of Martin. He'll gather it about 5 feet in front of Preek. Skate around the net. Now Martin gets it to the far side as Penner out to center ice for Johnny Walker. And it goes back over to Becker. Becker's got a goal tonight. He loses the puck to Penner, who drifts it along the Steelheads bench. Penner spins it along the near wall. It's cut off by Kupski behind his net. Kupski looking for a shutout now. That might be the only thing in doubt, as Kupski last season had 3 shutouts with Idaho. He's also got some pro experience with a couple other ECHL teams, as the Steelheads playing a methodical approach here, up by 4. They'll dump it in. Preek behind his net. We'll let Nate Klerman get it. Klerman will toss it ahead. His pass bounces off the skate of Strong as it goes back towards the penalty box area. Misiak will drop it back in his own zone. Now Kanadi gets it as the Steelheads play a game of keep away. Walker crosses center ice, skates down the middle, and Utah tried to clear it out. Kanadi kept it in, as he'll throw it to the right corner. As Utah with a big physical hit, and that's Victor Bartley. As the Steelheads still with the puck, as they'll skate towards the slot, loses it. Walker will tap it all the way deep in the Steelhead zone. He tried to tap it without icing, and there is no icing as the Grizzlies complete a line change. 2:45 and counting left in the third. Idaho's up 4-0. Kanadi skates down the middle, steps over the offensive line. Now right side, Walker feeds it to the left corner. Kawaguchi with a shot that goes wide, and it kicks over to the right corner. McDonald feeds it from corner to corner, bounces over Martin's stick. Pfizer gets it back to Martin, and Bryson gets it to Pfizer's at neutral ice, back to Martin. Now turnover. Idaho skate towards the right circle. Spanenberg's with a shot, and that one gets blocked out in front by Pfizer, who did a great job selling his body out in front. Down 4-0 with about 2 minutes left in the third. McDonald gets it ahead. Utah gets pinned along the boards, and that was Raby, as Idaho will back it out into their own zone. Matt Register starts the attack. He'll throw it to the right wing. Kawaguchi will dump it in from his offensive blue line as Klerman over to Martin. Bryson will nudge it ahead towards Sekos. He'll feed it to the left side for Klerman. Nate crosses center ice. Now he'll step over to the line. Left side, he'll nudge it to the corner. Klerman runs after it. He's double teamed by Idaho. Klerman trying to break free. Gets pinned along the boards. And Utah gets to the left point. Raby across to Pouncey. Pouncey feeds it to the right corner for Penner. He gets hit by Register, but Register keeps his feet and his balance. As it rolls towards the slot, Idaho will clear it out. Bouncing puck. Preek's going to wildly go out to the right side, and Utah was able to win the foot race. Kyle Pouncey's played an outstanding game tonight, and he was able to box Idaho away from the puck. As Penner over to the right side for Fitz. He'll skate towards the corner. Fitz fires a shot that goes wide. Actually, it might have been more of a pass around the boards. As Klerman gets tripped up by Zach Walker, no call. Penner on the right side takes a shot that goes wide. 1 minute left. As Pouncey in the corner. As Pouncey tries to feed it out in front. Kanadi throws it back to the corner on the far side. As big-time collision between Fitz and Hedrick. Fitz looks to center it. Picked off by Idaho. Now high slot. Pouncey with a shot that gets blocked. Idaho comes back the other way. 2-on-2. As they'll step over the offense line. Becker with a shot that goes wide. As Becker's looking for his second of the game. Klerman will nudge it out to center ice. 30 seconds left. 2-on-3. Grizzlies skate to the left circle. Will take a shot. Saved by Kupski. That was taken by Cam Strong, who's looking for his first goal of the season. And it looks like Jake Kupski is 27.5 seconds away from picking up his first shutout of the season. This is his season opener with Idaho. He had 3 shutouts for the Steelheads last season.
Boy, Nate Klurman looked like he took a shot on his left ankle. That looked like that hurt. Hockey is a physical sport. You have got to have real mental toughness.
Draw goes between the Grizzlies defenseman and into the Utah zone. Victor Bartley gets it, 20 seconds left. Bartley feeds it across to McDonald. Now back to Bartley, 15 seconds left. Bartley to center ice for Cam Shaw, glanced off his skate. Jamison skates in from the left side. He'll veer off to the corner as he tries to get around Heiskanen. 5 seconds left as Jamison couldn't get a stick broken free. And 2 seconds left over to the point, and that will do it. Steelheads win 4-0 as Jake Kupski gets the shutout. That's his 5th professional shutout. He had 3 for Idaho last year. He also had 1 shutout for South Carolina back in the 2020-21 season, and a former 7th-round pick for San Jose back in 2016. Stops all 23 shots he saw. Very few shots either way in the third period. Idaho scored 2 in the second and 2 in the third, and they come away with a 4-0 victory as they split the 2 games in this series. Utah falls to 2-2 on the season as they split each of the first 2 series, winning 1 out of 2 games last week at Maverick Center. And Idaho, they salute their great fans here as it was a near sellout at Idaho Central Arena. They sold out about 3/4 of their games last season as the Grizzlies, some Grizzlies fans in attendance as Utah walks back to the locker room. And in 4 games this year, the Grizzlies have scored a total of 8 goals, and one of them being an empty netter. And so Utah looking to find a way to get some offensive continuity as they head on the road, continue the road trip in Kansas City next Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday for a 3-game set against the Mavericks.
Yeah, boy, a tough night, a tough way to end the weekend. I think you would have been okay if you're Ryan Kanasowicz and somebody would have said to you, hey, you guys are going to split the series in Idaho. I think you would have taken that. But I think now you look at what the final score is, and I don't think you're so thrilled with the way you played. And again, I think a lot of this, when you go back and watch this tape, you're going to see that a lot of these goals were self-inflicted. And whether that is that you're on the road, you're playing back-to-back, you just feel like a lot of this damage that Idaho did tonight could have been prevented. Obviously, backside overplaying, over-aggressiveness at times, under-aggressiveness at times, not being decisive with the puck on your stick. All those things that tend to haunt hockey teams certainly came back to bite the Utah Grizzlies at times. But you feel good about the way they played. This defense on the whole, I think, has been very good. I think you have seen Lucas Perique emerge as your top goaltender. Even with Trent Miner up in Colorado now, you have a really good backup in Garrett Metcalf, and you just feel like you learned quite a bit about yourself this weekend in Idaho. But Tyson, on the whole, the good news is now that you can win in this building, and I think that's always something that you feel good about. You're going away now, though, for an entire week. You're going to Kansas City. You'll hear Tyson on the call Tuesday night as the Grizzlies head for Kansas City. Then they head for Allen, so this trip is extensive. And it's going to be important that the Utah Grizzlies find more goals. And I think your point earlier, partner, about whether or not this team is going to score enough goals or certainly score the way they scored last year, maybe that doesn't matter. Are they going to score enough goals this year? That's going to be the question. And I think especially on the road, which, as we've talked about, had been such a staple for the Grizzlies, goal scoring and winning on the road. I think now we're about to find out because, again, you're playing Tuesday, Friday, Saturday in Kansas City. You're there for an entire week before you head to Allen. So I think we're going to find out a lot about this hockey club as this week goes on.
We'll take it out in Kansas City. Kansas City faces Rapid City. We'll get to those scores in a little bit as I want to make sure I don't miss the bus. And how about Jake Kupski? You get a shutout, and you're not even the #1 star of the game. 3 stars, 3rd star Jack Becker, who had 1 goal and 1 assist and was a +2. Jake Kupski with a 23-save shutout, maybe because it was just 23 saves. He is just the #2 star of the game. He only saw 3 shots in the third period. The busiest he was in the second when Utah had 14 shots. Kupski is the #2 star. The #1 star, Colton Keller, who had 1 goal and 1 assist. He was a +2, had 2 shots and 2 penalty minutes. The goal that Keller scored, 14-15 into the second, turned out to be the game winner, as it was a scoreless game for the first 34 minutes and 15 seconds. But Keller was cutting in front of the net, got a nice centering pass from Patrick Kudla. Could have been Ty Pelton Bice, as I initially thought it was Bice, and Bice did get credited with an assist, as well as Kudla. And Keller put it away for his 4th of the year. That's 4 goals in 4 games. He had 17 goals last year. That made it a 1-0 game. And then less than 3 minutes later, Jade Miller was on the left side, centered it, and he was looking to find Zach Walker out in front. But didn't need Walker, as Miller was able to find the net himself, and he scored his 2nd of the season. He played for South Carolina last year. Becker with the assist, and at that point it was 2-0 Steelheads. They led 2-0 after 2. Ryan Domowski put together an insurance goal. They didn't need it, but he scored 1:07 into the 3rd. Pelton Bison Kudla with the assist. Those two combined on the 1st goal for Idaho and the 3rd goal as well, as both guys had 2 assists tonight. And then the scoring completed as Jack Becker skated down the middle and made a nice move and shot it past Parikh as he went top shelf. Becker gets his 1st of the season. It's his 3rd pro goal. He had 2 goals in 11 games for Idaho towards the end of the regular season. He played his college hockey at Arizona State last year, where he was a teammate of Johnny Walker's, and he was a teammate of Dakota Rabies at the University of Michigan for 4 years. Keller and Register with the assist there. And, the shots are pretty even, but in the 3rd period, when Idaho nursed in the lead, especially when it became 3-0 and then later 4-0, they were really smart in not letting Utah get many chances, as the Grizzlies only had 3 shots in the 3rd period. Idaho was 1 for 2 on the power play. Utah was 0 for 3. And I think for the Grizzlies, you had to like the way the first half of the game played out. But here in Idaho, the Steelheads are pretty good at building on momentum. You get that 1st goal, and it's always important the next couple shifts to kind of get the momentum back, especially with this building, with as full as it is, and with Idaho playing with a lot of confidence and playing physical in this building. Tough thing was they scored that 1st goal, and then 3 minutes later scored again, made it 2-0, and it was going to be pretty tough to overcome against a top goaltender like Kupski. Yeah,
that was going to be an uphill climb, but I don't know if it's just that the Grizzlies ran out of gas, but they played a much slower period. They did not control the neutral zone, and maybe they just had tired legs. I mean, it is always an adventure coming up to Idaho. I mean, Idaho Central Arena is a fantastic home ice advantage, and I think we saw that throughout the weekend. And now I think we start looking to the future with Kansas City, and I think you have to reestablish yourself. You have to reestablish your identity if you're this Utah Grizzlies team. Let's see a lot more of Friday night and a whole lot less of Saturday night as you head for Kansas City, because I think it's going to be a real test, because, again, you're there Tuesday, and then you're just kind of sitting around Wednesday and Thursday. You're kind of hanging out in Kansas City before you make that flight. And by the way, the Grizzlies are flying from Kansas City to Allen, which is great, because that is a pretty significant bus ride. But it'll be interesting to see what club we see on the ice Tuesday night in Kansas City, because you got to get back to playing that fast pace. But you know what? I think overall, you got to be pretty happy with what you saw on the positive side last night, certainly. And I think tonight there's just a lot of errors that you can clean up on watching film.
And most of the series here in Boise always seems like it turns out to be a split one way or another, and that's what this one turned out to be. Grizzlies have split the first 2 series of the season. In Kansas City, you hope to win 2 out of 3. Well, you'd love to get a sweep, obviously. Yeah. Go to Allen, you win 2 out of 3, and before you know it, you've had a pretty successful road trip. And if they can win 2 out of 3 in each of their next 2 stops, you go home with a 5-3 road trip before a 6-game homestand, 3 against Idaho, and then 3 against a very unfamiliar opponent, as we'll face the Trois Rivières Lions for the first time ever.
You're killing that
on
now.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, it's just rolling right off the tip of the tongue.
Before you know it, you're in December, and if you're 4 or 5 games over 500, you just kind of keep that momentum. And remember, first half of the season, Utah's only home for 14 out of their first 36 games. That means the second half of the season, the Grizzlies will be home 22 of the final 36 games. So all Utah really needs to do first half of the year, just keep pounding away, because once you get to that second half, especially with as good a team as Utah is at home, you got a lot of home games there in the final half. And so it was important for the Grizzlies to win on the road last year, and it's important here in the next 6 games, all of them on the road, that the Grizzlies win no less than 3 or 4 of them. And in the games you don't win, you'd love to see if you can find a way to get an extra standing point by forcing overtime or something like that against Kansas City, who might be improved defensively. They haven't given up a goal so far in 2.5 periods, as they lead Rapid City 2-0 halfway through the 3rd. Well, Grizzlies offensively have had some success against Kansas City. We'll see if the Mavericks are improved defensively, as they've had some forward talent, but they got a new goalie in Shane Starrett. and he looked to be a pretty good one a couple of years ago with Wichita.
And by the way, I think one thing we learned the last 2 weekends, this is going to be a heck of a race in the mountain. I mean, if it really does turn into Idaho, Utah, and Rapid, I mean, Idaho has shown you they can score a lot of goals. I mean, they've got 17 goals in their first 4 games. I mean, that's a lot of offense in this league. So, and the Grizzlies have shown you they're a pretty good defensive team, especially as you said at home. So, I can't wait for Kansas City.
We'll see if Utah can find their way offensively against Kansas City. Next game will be on Tuesday night. 5:40 pregame show, about 6:05 face-off. Actually, we might go 5:50 for the pregame show. It's going to be on Tuesday night. I might be in your new studio on Tuesday night watching from a remote feed. Hopefully we can find the right chords there, as it's the first road game remote-wise this season. Kansas City's got one of the best video feeds in the league, and once that first game remote broadcast comes through, the rest of them hopefully will go rather smoothly, as Grizzlies will take on Kansas City for 3 games, then Allen for 3. It was a fun weekend, a lot of good hockey, a lot of good defensive hockey through the first 5 periods of play. Idaho played well defensively throughout the series, and for Utah, there's a lot of moments they can build on. They'll probably be without James Shearer for a little bit. Didn't look like there was any significant injuries from what I could tell, though Clermont got banged up a little bit there towards regulation. Grizzlies will have 2 days off before facing Kansas City Tuesday night. Same time, not the same time, but I think all 3 games might end up being about 6:05 in the Mountain Time Zone. And we'll be on Flow Sports and YouTube for all the action, all road trip long and all season long, as Utah's 2-2 on the season. Idaho goes to 3-1. Any final thoughts, Monty?
Yeah, I think that this was a pretty solid trip for Utah. You would like to see them score more goals, but defensively, I think this team has really emerged. So it's going to be a great season of Grizzlies hockey.
That'll wrap things up here from Idaho Central Arena, as the Steelheads get 2 goals in the second and 2 in the third. Once again, in 2 hours and 15 minutes. We'd love to see that every game. And in attendance, 4,737, 4,737. The Steelheads get a 4-0 victory, as Jake Kupski got a 23-save shutout, and Jack Becker and Colton Keller each had 1 goal and 1 assist. For Monty, I'm Tyson Whiting, and it is what it is. We'll talk to you on Tuesday night. You're listening to Utah Grizzlies Hockey, presented by Rio Tinto.